see if it'll update on here. Where did my tab go? I'm one of those people that I always have like 1,000 tabs open and I can never find anything.
I'm pretty sure we're live.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to find it because there I am. I can hear it. Where's it coming from? Oh, you hear the feedback?
Yes, I totally hear it.
God damn it. Where is it? Nope. Damn it.
Yes, I totally hear it.
I am sorry, guys. I opened up a tab and now I'm just going to... damn it. Where is it coming from? I am sorry. There it is. Okay, I found it.
Found it.
I think. Where is it coming from? Nope, that wasn't it. Oh, I found it. Now I really found it. There it is. Okay, I found it. Oh my God, that was hell. All right, hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. It's Anna, also known as That Star Wars Girl, and today I am joined by a very, very special guest, Miss Merry Mayhem. Say hello, Mary.
Hi, guys.
So, Mary, you excited?
Oh my gosh, so stoked. I've been screaming like a maniac for like 2 days now.
Well, I'm excited to have you here. And so everyone, I know it usually takes a couple minutes just in case people aren't getting notifications, because I know YouTube tends to do that. So I'm going to share it one more time. But just to kind of reiterate what this show is I grew up I loved to watch interview shows when I was younger. And, you know, as I got older, I felt that it kind of allows you to get to know someone in a way that you wouldn't necessarily, you learn things about people that you wouldn't have necessarily learned if they didn't, go through, like, I wouldn't say like an interview process, but more of like a fun and entertaining interview. And so that's why I decided to start this show called Force Talks, because a lot of people don't really necessarily know based on, my videos, but I actually do have pretty like severe social anxiety. And so this is kind of a way of not only for me to get to know people, but also, for me to kind of get out of my shell and, not be so much of a hermit under a rock. And so this is my 4th episode, and I've had guests on like, Eric July, who is from the channel Young Ripper 59. Then I had Todd from Junker Designs. And, I decided, because the fandom Menace has been under attack lately by all the crazies on the internet, especially on the Twitters, I just wanted to kind of highlight channels that are within the fandom Menace. And Mary is someone that stuck out to me for a really long time. Every time, like I said, I'm very much a hermit, and it takes a lot for me to get out of my shell and, talk to people that I don't know. And so the first time I ever spoke to Mary, I believe, as far as I can remember, was I was at Star Wars Celebration, and Proper Jeremy handed me his phone, and he's like, "Anna, say hi to Mary." And I was like, "Hi."
I'm like, oh! I was over here freaking out, and I was like, nobody cared around me because my brother doesn't know what the heck I'm talking about. So I'm just sitting there like squeeing, like trying to hold it together because I'm talking to Anna. So, but you were so sweet. You were so sweet. You were like, "Oh, you're a doll baby." I was like trying to talk to you about cosplay, and you're like, "Mm-mm."
Well, no, see, that I was just like so like nervous. I'm like, oh my God, I'm talking to this person and I don't know who this person, like I've never spoken to this person before. Like, we're, aside from like a little interactions on YouTube and on Twitter, kind of strangers. So I was like, hi, but you were so kind to me, and with everything that's happened recently in life, you've never been nothing but like a ball of sunshine. And so that's kind of why I was like, when I do this, it's because it's my show, I choose people that I want to talk to and that I want to have on and that I want to highlight. And I'm not like an expert on your channel and everything that you've done, but everything that I've seen from you, it's always really funny. Like, I loved your little thing that you did where you called your mom. That was so funny. But
she was so upset too. She was like, "What? That's not even possible." And I was see?
Yep.
So
I kind of wanted to highlight you and who you are, because like I said, you're kind of just like a radiating ball of sunshine and happiness. And everyone that when I said I was going to do this show and I was talking to, my friends about having guests on, and I said you, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, Mary is so nice." So everyone, just unanimously has nothing but kind and nice things to say about you. And I think that says a lot about you as a person. So
liars. All of them.
Oh,
Wonderful people in this community. A lot more than just me too, man. I didn't get, I was accepted by a lot of wonderful people. So there's a lot of sweet people out there.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things about this community that we really need to highlight is, just bringing to attention how wonderful, 99.9% of the fandom, or like everyone that I've actually encountered in the fandom Menace are. But let's start off with this interview. So, Miss Mary, where are you from?
I am a Kentucky girl. # Redneck Nation. To my friends in the chat, Mox, Rox, and Han, they know what I'm talking about. No, I'm a Kentucky girl. I was born in Bowling Green, raised in the sticks, and with the ongoing joke actually for where I grew up was there. The population is 2 if you include the cow, Bessie. She's a sweetie. She's a total sweetie, man. She'll let you milk her and everything. So I'm just a hick.
So. Okay. I mean, I grew up in a tiny town. It doesn't have stoplights, and it never will. Yeah. Like the entire town, I'm basically related to everyone because we're all like just Portuguese, and then we came over from the Azores. But yeah, I mean, I don't know much about Kentucky except for horses and the Derby. Did you ride horses at all?
Oh yeah, of course. Well, it's like a requirement if you live in Kentucky, you ride horses or you're like banned from the state. Like, get out. I don't even know you anymore. Like, so the joke is that we have beautiful horses, and this is my dad's favorite joke. Dad joke incoming. We have beautiful horses and fast women. So yeah. Kentucky is a beautiful state. Very beautiful, very relaxed, calm. We don't get too uppity over too much.
Do you still live in Kentucky now?
I do. So I've moved all over the world, actually. I've lived in El Paso, Japan, New York, North Carolina. I've lived all over the world, but that was because I was married to a soldier, and we moved all over the world, and now I'm back home in Kentucky. So.
Well, that's cool. I mean, Japan, that's pretty crazy and out there. When I know that we're all part of like the Fandom Menace, and we all have like our nerdy things. When you were in Japan, did you get exposed to a whole nother level of that?
So Japan is a weird place to navigate, right? And it's a lot more cutesy than you would expect. Everything is like with little bows on everything, right? Like, and Hello Kitty. Everywhere you look, and the people move in like schools of fish, and never make the mistake of trying to cut across them, right? Because you will get swept downstream. You'll wind up 3 miles away from where it was you intended to go. But no, there's a lot of stuff there. It's just I never read kanji, so it was difficult to really engage with a lot of the materials that I could have purchased there, I suppose, just because I don't read kanji, and I only speak a very, very minimal amount of Japanese, just enough to get people who dial me on the phone to sell me stuff to go away. So yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff there, and anime is everywhere.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. Are you a fan of anime or not as much?
I am. It depends on the anime, right? Like I love Death Note. I love Fairy Tail. I love Sailor Moon. Like it just depends on the anime. I'm a little more selective than some others. I don't like absorb all of it like some do, but I definitely have some anime that I'm super into. Mostly Studio Ghibli.
Okay, yeah. I remember this is not a popular opinion, but it always freaked me out with Spirited Away, and I can't watch that movie, but everyone loves that movie.
Oh, such a good movie. It's honestly one of the top 3 favorite movies of all time for me. Easy.
I can't do it. When the parents turn to pigs and she gets transported, I'm like, I'm out. I can't. But I know everyone loves it.
If you're looking for a movie that's fun and bizarre, but not quite as somewhat disturbing in some places, try Howl's Moving Castle.
That's actually one that I haven't seen, but I really wanted to. But I remember the first one I ever watched was Kiki's I think it was Castle in the Sky, then Kiki's Delivery Service, and then I saw Princess Mononoke, and I loved that one.
That one is rough, man. That is an adult movie right there.
Oh yeah, but I mean, I liked that as a kid. I was like, "Ooh, this is fascinating. This is stuff I haven't seen before." Yeah. But so, I'm not the biggest anime person, so I don't necessarily know what to ask you about that. But so let's move into kind of where you got started with in the nerddoms, shall you say. So I have my story where I watched Star Wars for the first time. So was there like a movie or a TV show that you just saw it and you instantly clicked and you're like, this is my thing?
So Star Wars would be the first introduction for me as well. Really from before I can remember, my first memories of geek culture are two things really. My dad sitting me there like on his lap watching Star Wars, and we watched it. We didn't own a whole lot of movies, but we owned the Star Wars trilogy on VHS. And I would sit there with my dad and he would explain things to me, right? That's Luke Skywalker. It's basically space Jesus, right? And, he would go on and he would point out things like what the truth of, sort of innate wisdom in Yoda's words and things like that. And that and him telling me to get down, he was watching Star Trek. So your head's in the way. So mostly I remember growing up just as little as I could be. And I remember my father spending time with my father watching Star Wars, and my father jokingly around Christmas teaching my brother and I to have lightsaber fights with the Christmas wrapper. My mother getting furious, I have to use that later. And so mostly my dad just interacting with us very playfully, and that sort of laying the foundation for this sort of deep love for Star Wars, which grew as I got older into more things. It sort of even expanded beyond my father's interests for me, things into like anime as I got older. Cosplay as I became a young adult. Just it sort of branched out, but dad was the one who really laid that foundation for me, and it made me ask a lot of questions. Even as a kid, Star Wars made me ask questions.
Do you have a favorite Star Wars character?
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan? From the originals or the prequels?
So it's from the prequels, obviously, but because he's so consistent across all of it, because Obi-Wan is the one you can rely on to be the same way across all of the prequels and the original trilogy. He is sort of the highlight. Now, if you asked me on Thursday, I would probably tell you Luke. But 5 out of 7 days of the week, I will tell you Obi-Wan. 2 other days, I'll probably tell you Luke.
Why the difference between Luke and Obi-Wan? What is it?
I think it has to do with the sort of tie. So the first cosplay I ever did was going to the prequels with my brother. I had sewn us cloaks. We were going to be Jedi. And I was super excited because the first cosplay I ever made was for my brother to be ObiWan Kenobi. And he was very excited for it. And I think that just sort of holds that sort of special place in my heart. It's very nostalgic for me because I figured out I was pretty damn good at sewing at that point. So I think that's probably, I don't want to say it's not to do with the character because the character's wonderful. And obviously without Obi-Wan, we don't have Luke. But I would say there's a nostalgia sort of memory, sepia toned stuff floating through my head from back in the day with my brother going to see, the Phantom Menace. Or the Phantom Menace.
I know I do that all the time now.
You're in my head. But no, standing there in line overnight with my brother in cosplay, miserable in cosplay, and more elated than we'd ever been because this was a new Star Wars film. And so there was that, and I'm staring at Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he had to glue on a beard because we were so young at the time. He didn't. Yeah, facial hair wasn't a thing for him at the time, really, and so he glued on a beard, and it was so exciting. But Luke was sort of there from infancy, so I sort of can't forget that either. So,
did you? When you saw the Phantom Menace, now I have to correct myself when I say it. You have to be careful now. So when you saw the Phantom Menace, and obviously Obi-Wan, that's Ewan McGregor. So completely different actor, different type of character. Were you at all disappointed by how little he was in that one? Well, yeah, he comes in at the end and fights Darth Maul, but that was something that got me at the because I had seen all the original Star Wars, as I think most people had that were old enough at that time to go see the movies when they were coming out. That's what my thing was. I was like, it's Obi-Wan? Why is he not doing anything? Why aren't we focusing on Obi-Wan more? Like, why are we following? Like, yeah, I know it's Anakin Skywalker, but who cares about this queen? Well, I want to see Obi-Wan. Did you ever have any of those feelings while watching it?
So I was 18 or 19 when it came out at the time. And I had my rose-colored glasses on like most other people, right?
Mhm.
Now, today, if you asked me today, I'm no prequel defender. I recognize that they have valuable aspects, that they tell a coherent story, that they're not the worst movies ever made. I can still sit down and enjoy them, but I'm not a prequel defender because I recognize all of their flaws and faults. But at the time, as it was going down, I think there was just far too much excitement in me to care.
Mhm.
Obi-Wan at the time wouldn't have taken my first spot, right?
Mhm.
Luke. And Obi-Wan actually grew to be that after, episode 2 and episode 3. And over
Mhm.
the years, I came to sort of recognize the consistency of his character. But at the time, I was terribly interested in Anakin. I needed to know and understand how it was that Anakin came to be Darth Vader. And
Mhm.
it's terribly interesting to me to see this little boy, this is pod racing and all. I didn't care at the time.
Mhm.
I was good with it. And it took me a few years to sort of take a step back and go, that didn't age well.
Yeah.
So at the time, no, I didn't care.
Let's see. I'm trying to think about. I feel like one of my favorite scenes that's from the prequels that's pretty underrated is the scene with Obi-Wan when he's on Geonosis and he has that little conversation with, oh my god, yeah, Count Dooku. I was gonna call him something else, but Count Dooku, where they're talking about the Trade Federation and how he knows who the Dark Lord of the Sith is, and that he wants to overthrow him, and that Obi-Wan needs to come to his side. And every time I watch, Attack of the Clones, I'm just thinking, oh my gosh, if he would have just kind of like maybe listened more to Count Dooku, maybe he could have prevented what happened to Anakin.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, they laid all of the groundwork for sort of the failure of the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was something George Lucas did a really good job at, was that he made it very clear that it was, I hate giving credit to the sequel trilogy, but there was hubris. There was a very serious issue within the Jedi Order at the time. The reason they fell was because they couldn't see past the end of their nose. And even Obi-Wan was very full of himself. I mean, Yoda even gave him a sideways shot. These young Jedi, too sure of themselves, are they? That was aimed at Obi-Wan, guys. There was no question that this could and should have been prevented. And it sort of, it lays the fault is the Jedi Order at the time. They could have and should have prevented it. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking back on that too. I always sit there and go, Obi-Wan, no, come on, dude. No, I know he's a bad guy. But sometimes they tell you their evil plan and you're supposed to listen. You're supposed to listen to the evil plan. Remember that.
Supposed to just let them talk and then hear everything and then, beat them. It's very much a Shakespearean tragedy, the way that the prequels kind of play out, because it's like everything's kind of working out for them, and then all of a sudden shit hits the fan and
yeah,
goes up in smoke. So you said a little bit earlier that your dad watched Star Trek with you too. Do you like Star Trek as well?
Yes, a bit more selective with the Star Trek. Mostly, my dad is a bigger fan of the original Star Trek with William Shatner. And actually, not this past November, but the November before that, I went to New York City Comic Con and got William Shatner's autograph for my dad. He freaked out. He freaked out for Christmas. That was like the best thing ever. He was sitting there. I think I saw a tear. My daddy doesn't cry. But I saw a tear in the corner of his eye. He was sitting there going, I don't think I'll ever see this day. He's got two, Alan love Captain Kirk. And so that was a really cool experience. And Shatner's quite charming in person, actually. He's very funny, very witty. He was like, so who's this to? And he was like, to Alan. He's like, that's you? That's my brother. And he goes, no, that's my dad. And he goes, from Captain Kirk, that's me. And I was like, oh. You ham. You am. So I'm not as big a fan of the original Star Trek, mostly because I watched The Next Generation with my dad. It wasn't running at the time when I was a kid. So I watched The Next Generation. I watched Deep Space Nine, not as much, but I'm familiar with Deep Space Nine, and I really loved Voyager.
Yeah. I watched Voyager with my best friend in high school, and I that was her like introduction into Star Trek, and so it like holds a special place in my heart. And I've been rewatching it, and that one scene where like Neelix decides to stay, I'm like, no, God damn it, Neelix, you're breaking my heart. You're supposed to go to the Alpha Quadrant with them.
Mm-hmm.
With that though, did you watch the Picard trailer?
Yes, I have seen it, and I know everyone's in a uproar in it. I haven't stayed up to date with Star Wars, so I'm a little terrified, obviously, because I am well aware of STD, and I know that everybody is in an uproar over that. So I've kind of kept it an arm's length because it's a lot. It's a lot to take in, and I'm not sure I want to sit there and watch Picard get turned into a sad old man.
Yeah, but what about Seven of Nine coming back?
Is she?
Oh, you didn't see the trailer?
No. I saw the Picard trailer where it was in the vineyard.
Oh, you saw the teaser. Oh, I just spoiled it for you. Oh, goddamn.
No, 7 of 9.
Oh my God, I just spoiled this trailer. I'm so sorry, Mary.
Is she in the cat suit?
No, she's in clothing, like regular clothes. But she still looks great, like especially like what she's like 56 now. She looks amazing.
Jerry Ryan is 56.
I think so. She's in her 50s. I know that.
You're kidding me.
Oh no, she looks great for her age. Like she aged so well. Picard, I feel like the cameras that they used back when they filmed it like did a lot to like help them look, you know, glamified and like they don't show how like old they are. Like we all knew Picard was like a little bit older than Riker, but like in this one, it's like, oh my God, Picard. I'm like, they're aging. It's killing me, my childhood. Like, how much longer are we gonna have?
Probably not much longer if we're being realistic.
I know, and it's heartbreaking.
I mean, it has to happen. I think ultimately what's important is to preserve their memories and not pick them up, because that seems to be what everybody wants to do. They want to take these older characters that are preserved beautifully as they are, right? Leave them alone. Let them sit nicely and snugly in our memories as they are, as opposed to sort of wrecking it and tarnishing it by turning. I don't want to see old man Picard. I want to remember, you know, I know he looked quote unquote old back then or whatever, but he's always been old, you know?
Yeah.
Picard has always looked old, or Patrick Stewart has always looked old, but dignified, right? Refined. And I don't really want to see him struggling to, you know, I don't want to see that. I want to remember, I don't want to remember him being vibrant. So.
Yeah, I mean, they could always do the argument of like a Gandalf type character that, you know, even though they're older, they're full of that wisdom. And, you know, maybe if they do become weak, they can still, you know, they still have their mind until that goes. And I think that's one thing that they're really doing in the entertainment is it's like, and I feel like there's some people that do it very well. Like, I don't know if you watch The Boys, but I thought, you know, the way that it was the deconstruction of the superhero, I felt like they handled that very well as compared to other versions that I've seen. But I feel, and I've seen a few of your videos where you talk about this, not necessarily about superheroes, but about characters where, and I think this is a popular trend in Hollywood now, is that they take something that's already established that we loved, and then they try to deconstruct it or change it. The one that I'm thinking of particularly was, I really liked your Maleficent reaction video to the trailer too. And you, for everyone that doesn't know, Mary does reactions, or she talks and gives commentary on, you know, trailers like a lot of our channels do. But one that I feel like Mary covered that a lot of people didn't cover was the Maleficent trailer, the Maleficent 2 trailer, which the fact that the first one even gets a sequel, it's like, really? That you want to give that movie a sequel?
Yeah.
But one of the things that Mary really highlighted, guys, was that Maleficent was a great villain, and for them to try to swamp that and make her into a hero or like an anti-hero, it just doesn't work. So that's been happening a lot. What is your take on it, if you want to kind of give everyone a little intro onto your thoughts of it?
Well, you take the appeal of a character who we're the whole reason that they appeal to us in the first place is because they sit comfortably settled into this place of nostalgia where we know this character as this thing. She's the mistress of all evil. She's downright terrifying to small children, and so even as an adult, you still sort of get that little shiver up your spine when you see Maleficent, because she's she was there rooted into your childhood, and that's why you care in the first place. And you don't want her messed up. You don't want to take that away from her. It's her identity. Right. Mm-hmm. And so to take that and swap it and try to turn her into a sort of Wicked style protagonist in a way is a betrayal of the very root of the character, right? The very reason we loved that character to begin with. So you take our nostalgia and you use it against us in order to sell tickets, in order to essentially morph a character beyond recognition. And I never wanted I never wanted a misunderstood Maleficent. Yeah. Maleficent is evil beyond all things. She is the mistress of all evil. She's terrifying. And I don't understand this insane need to take these characters who work beautifully as they are, as they exist, and to twist them and morph them into something beyond recognition. It's to sell tickets, obviously, but the excuse is a twist on an old tale. Well, sometimes well enough is well enough to be left alone. And taking essentially something that is rooted in people's childhoods and distorting it beyond recognition is not something I think most people actually want. You got us in seats because we wanted Maleficent. Yeah. Not because we wanted Wicked. I wanted to see Wicked.
I didn't even put that one together. But no, you're absolutely right. When I was watching that movie, when I was in college, we had to take, the history of animation. And so one of the things about, Disney and, they based on, the fairy tales that have been around for hundreds of years. And one of the things that you learn as a child is that stranger dangers, you have to be aware in the world that there actually are evil people that will do evil things. Obviously, they're not going to show, pedo stuff. They're not going to show, children being murdered. So they do it with a fairy tale. Let's show this evil witch type character. Let's show this crazy businesswoman that wants to wear puppies' skins as coats. To a child, that's terrifying. And that teaches children at a very young age that there is evil, but it does it in a way that makes sense to a child as well as an adult. Mm-hmm. And when I was watching the Maleficent, I'm like, visually, it's beautiful. You want to mute the movie, put on a soundtrack to, majestic music, shot by shot. Artist did a good job. Sure. Story-wise, let's turn it into a rape story, and that's why Maleficent was evil. It's like, no, Maleficent didn't get an invite to a party, and I was like, I'm going to be petty, your kid's going to die. It's like, wow, that's pretty ruthless. That is a terrifying character, and a villain or a hero is only as strong as the villain. Mm-hmm. So you want to make a weak villain, the hero doesn't have to overcome anything.
Well, and Maleficent was really the best part of Sleeping Beauty, and I think they knew that when they went to remake it, right? She was like, Sleeping Beauty herself is obviously beautiful. They gave her all of the pretty, wonderful attributes that they give princesses, and then they put her to sleep and shut her up for the last, third of the movie, quarter of the movie. And because she's not really what matters, right? It's the overcoming of evil that matters in Sleeping Beauty. And that evil needed to be so prevalent and so harsh that because we're not rooting, we're only rooting for Prince Philip and Aurora because of how evil Maleficent is. Mm-hmm. We're not rooting for them because they're particularly wonderful protagonists, because they're not. All she does is twirl and sing, and then she goes to sleep. And she seems like a nice enough girl, and that's great and everything. But we're not rooting for her because she's a well-threshed out character or fleshed out character. We're rooting for her because we know how evil Maleficent is. So at this point, it's like, you seem like a really nice person. Someone's got to kill Psycho over there.
Yeah. And plus it's not so much like that we're invested in Aurora. It's that we're invested in every single person that cares about Aurora, that's been protecting her. Like, one of the things that I loved watching about it was that, I had 2 younger sisters, so there was 3 of us when we watched the movie. It's the 3 fairies, it's us 3 sisters. And so watching that, and then, also, the parents, they, send their baby away to go live with some, fairies in a forest. They're not going to see their kid. It's like, you want them to win. You want everyone that cares about this one girl to, and put their entire life to protect her. You want them to succeed. And yes, the villain is that ultimate evil.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And they nerfed it. Mm-hmm. I don't care about a nice Maleficent. The whole reason I liked Maleficent was because she was so evil, she needed to go down. And yes, the fairies really are the heroines of that story. They do everything from beginning to end. From the very beginning, they set her up to make sure that Aurora is a protagonist even worth protecting, right? They give her the gifts of, kindness and song, and then Merryweather goes behind and she makes sure that it's not a death, right? So those 3 good fairies are really the main protagonists, as it were. They're doing all of the work at the end there. Prince Philip wouldn't have been able to accomplish anything he'd accomplished if they hadn't busted him out of jail and gotten him over that bridge. And then they'd all bing, bing, bing to sword so it goes right into the heart. Like those fairies, powerful women in cinema, people.
Yeah, and I mean, you would have expected them, and that was one of the things that I was really keen on when they were making the Maleficent movie. I'm like, oh my gosh, who are they going to cast as the fairies? That's going to be, they try to really villainize men nowadays, and it's like, well, but I'm going to be completely honest, a lot of people that I've met in my life, a majority of the evil ones I've met have been women, because women can be ruthless. Yes, ruthless psychos sometimes. And that would have been great to see this one played by Angelina Jolie, the queen, have her be this ultimate evil, and then have, cast 3, obviously women for the fairies, and have them have that little outing. I thought that would have been great. You could have highlighted some new actresses, but they went that way. And I mean, I feel like they've done that a lot with movies nowadays. And I mean, I was going to wait until later, but I mean, we can make this transition over into Star Wars. So, I mean, they deconstructed our childhood, our cartoon animated movies, but then what was that like for you when you went and saw the new Star Wars movies after, cosplaying for years, having this relationship with your father and your brother over Star Wars? What happened when you all saw the new sequels?
So I never liked The Force Awakens. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I actually ticked my family off from The Force Awakens, because when we walked out of the theater, I was going, this is bull. Right? Like, I was sitting there, I was like, I knew they were going to kill Han. I was so mad I couldn't see straight. And I was like, who the f is this Rey chick? I don't even like her. Who the is she? And my brother was like, can you calm down? And I was like, no, someone would explain to me how the heck she knows how to fly the Falcon. Like she's never even flown and left the place before. Like, she's never flown and left the planet before. She had said that. I was like, so how the heck did she pull that out? I knew she was in Mary Sue from the get-go. I was convinced she was a red herring. Convinced she was a red herring for the first 2/3 of the video, thinking to myself, surely to God, Finn is the protagonist here. He must be, right? Like, he's defector from the First Order. He's got to be the person that we're looking at here, right? Because it made the most sense. And then there was this, I was convinced of this the first time I saw it in theaters. You know the scene where he's going into Maz Kanata's castle, and they're shooting off the lasers from the base, and you can see them in the sky, right? And at that moment, you see Finn heading into Maz Kanata's castle, and he stops, and then you hear screaming, and then he hears it, and he turns around, and it's very reminiscent of ObiWan Kenobi. I heard the voices cry out, and then they were suddenly stopped, right? And so I thought, surely at that moment, this was our introduction to Force-sensitive Finn, right? And then he comes running in. They've done it, right? Like, because he had no other reason to even turn around and look at that moment. He heard those voices. And so I was convinced that it was going to be Finn. And then it turns out to be Rey. And I was like, I don't even like her.
Yeah.
I don't even like her. And so I did not like Rey from the get-go. And I really wanted to see Finn take precedent, because I felt like they were actually building towards something with him, and that didn't come to fruition. But after it was over, we had some time. I cooled down a little. I was like, okay, all right, there's some stuff to work with here. Who is Rey? I did the same thing everybody else did, and I will have you know, I called the ObiWan Kenobi theory like 2 days after I saw the movie, before it was floating around all over the internet, because I saw it opening night. And like 2 days after I saw the movie, I was sitting there pondering, and I was like, I bet you she's Obi-Wan Kenobi's granddaughter. And my brother was like, no. And I was like, nah, think about it, man. So I'm sitting there theorizing, connecting yarn dots, right? Like with the rest of the world. And I began to get excited again because I felt like, even though I was a little let down with that, I love Star Wars. I love Star Wars. And, the first time I'd had a disappointing movie from Star Wars. It better. You never know.
Yeah, maybe things will get answered. Kind of like the prequels. We had that big payoff. Like at the end of the Phantom Menace, we had the Obi-Wan and Darth Maul fight scene. Clone Wars, we got Yoda and Dooku. And then, Revenge of the Sith, we got Anakin and Obi-Wan. So it's like, maybe they'll get a payoff in the next one,
It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Guys, you'll see. I got really optimistic, I'm not really the type of person to stay down in the dumps over something. So I'm just like trying to find the good bits. And plus Luke was coming back, right? So I had so much to look forward to. And then the trailer came out and I said, oh, the Grey Jedis. It's going to be the Grey Jedis. It's time for the Jedi to die. It's going to be the Grey Jedis, the Ashla and the Bogan. We're going to get so much cool stuff. And I was freaking out. Had all these theories running around in my head, sitting there with my tinfoil hat on, which I have one of, right? I was sitting there convinced it was going to be the best Star Wars movie we'd ever gotten, right? Because they were going to introduce the Ashla and the Bogan, and Luke was going to sort of do what he had done in the extended universe, where he sort of tears down the old ways of the Jedi and allows for a bit more freedom and loose and relaxed.
Have you read the expanded universe?
Some, and I'm not obviously I'm not as into it as you can possibly be because there's so many rabbit holes you can go down.
Yeah,
but I am familiar with some of it. I've played KOTOR and Star Wars: The Old Republic and things like that. So I've read probably 10 books, I want to say, roughly. Okay. So not as in-depth as you can possibly go, but I am familiar with some of it.
But enough to know about like Luke's path and like Grey Jedi, obviously.
Right. So I was thinking, hey, we're going to see a new type of Jedi. Right? We'll see more balance, the balance that we've been promised, that, because we've been told there would be balance, right? It fulfills the prophecy. And so maybe that balance is what we're going to be seeing now, right? Like the sort of, Luke coming in and making things a little less strict and allowing it to be the same way as it had been, with the old Jedi Order, where they'd messed up in so many ways. And I was convinced that they were going to explore that to some extent. And, Luke would pass the torch to Rey, because, he's older now, and, he'll teach her the ways, right? And I saw the movie, and I was with my brother, as I'm always with my brother. I actually went home for Star Wars. This was Christmas, right? I was, married at the time, and I had two sides of the family, right? So there's his side of the family, there's my side of the family, and so we come to the agreement, because I wanted to see my family because Star Wars was coming out.
Yeah,
I'd go see his side of the family for Christmas, and I go see my side of the family for Star Wars. So I go home for a week just before Christmas. And I get in the car, I go with my brother. We're so excited. I bought the little evil BB-8, at the place. Stormtrooper head with the popcorn in it. And I was sitting there like, oh, it's going to be great. And we're sitting there watching, and I'm like, that was the progression. And when it was over, I was sort of shell-shocked. Like, what have you done? What have you done? What have you done to Luke? And I remember feeling numb. And usually, every time I've gotten out of a Star Wars movie before, it's always with my brother. We will always talk. We talk. We sit there and chitter chatter and pick each other back and forth. Right? That didn't happen. We sat there in his car in silence, driving the 45 minutes back home because we wanted to go to a good theater. So we live in BFE. And 45-minute car ride home of silence. It broke me.
Yeah. It did to a lot of people.
It broke a lifetime of tradition. I sat there in silence with a brother who I normally can't get to shut up after these things. Sitting there going, I don't even know what I just watched.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
Oh, yeah. The Last Jedi. I hate that movie. God, I hate that movie.
Yeah, and I think that that's a really big thing that people don't understand. You know, a lot of people like to label us as basement drilling trolls, but it's like, no, this is, you know, something that we cared very deeply about. And you can do the deconstruction of the superhero any which way you want. Maybe write your own characters and do your own thing. Don't take something that gave people so much hope, like Luke Skywalker, and then destroy it right in front of us, because you're hurting a lot of people and they don't care. And my first instinct was like this uncontrollable anger, like you know that feeling when your face heats up because you're just so angry, and it's like, what is going on? And I didn't get sad until a little bit later, you know, but it was just this uncontrollable anger, because I'm like, I feel so betrayed by these people that, you know, Disney, something that has been there, that I'm sure, based on, you know, our little conversation about Sleeping Beauty, that it was there for you too. You know, these cartoons, these things that we grew up with that we trusted, and they betrayed us. And was that kind of what inspired you to start making videos and creating a channel?
So I was a watcher for about a year and change, little over a year, you know. I watched Jeremy.
Mm-hmm.
Got into his comments and started ticky-tacky arguing with people who were going after him because, you know, say something to me, I'm a chick. Ha!
Yeah.
Like, pulled out my whammon card and was like, come at me, bro. So I was a watcher because I was, of course, deeply angry. But at the time, it was not feasible. It wasn't something that was in the cards for me when it all first started happening.
Mm-hmm.
I just started to, over time, though, I watched this culture war get more and more violent. And I watched good men called horrible things. Good men take their lives because they're being attacked on grounds that are ridiculous and don't apply to them. And I realized that the circumstances in my life had changed, and I had an opportunity to step up. I had an obligation to step up. As a female, everyone wants to make such a big deal about our gender, then fine, put up with me.
Yeah, and I mean, you've been quite a warrior from it. I mean, when I did talk to Jeremy about, you know, once I announced, you know, that you're coming on, he's like, oh my gosh, Mary's been there like since the beginning. And he sent me a screenshot, and he's like, I had the screenshot from a long time ago. And he's like, you said something really nice in one of his videos defending him. And it's sad that we have to play that stupid woman card, because it shouldn't matter what our gender is. We love Star Wars. You don't have to be a man or a woman. You can understand Luke Skywalker's journey, because every single person on the face of this planet has somebody that they care about, that they would do anything for, and that they, you know, I don't know any person that would turn to the dark side, because I don't know any psychopaths, but I mean, no normal person would do that. So watching The Last Jedi and everything that happened, and then what happened in our culture, because there was already things going on, but then once they decided to attack Star Wars, I really don't think that they understood what they were getting into. They're like, oh, Star Wars is popular, it makes money, George Lucas is a billionaire, let's get into that, and then let's say it's for the women. And it's like, no.
Thanks, but if I'm really as empowered as you keep trying to say I am, I can do this for myself. Thank you very much.
Oh, God. What have you found has been like the really big thing when you're fighting these people online? I mean, do people try to question you about, oh, well, you know, you don't know anything about Star Wars, then you slap them with knowledge? Is that something you do a lot?
So the truth of the matter is I've only engaged with a handful of trolls. I don't fight too much on Twitter, mainly because I have a bigger sort of, my goal is to make sure that the words are out there in a way that resonates more. I have no problem with people getting on Twitter and doing the warrior thing. That is fantastic. It's not me. right? I don't get into squabbles on Twitter. I'm a little busy. So for the most part, I like to essentially put my voice into the pot in terms of videos, right? And I'll engage in civil dialogue in a heartbeat. But if you're going to be a jerk and you're going to be a troll and you're going to do ridiculous, stupid things, I will say my piece and then walk away. Because these conversations can't happen with a person who's not willing to have one. So I try to be very careful on who I engage with in terms of conversations, because I think conversations are important. Ticky-tacking at each other isn't helpful, right?
Very true.
I've flown under the radar a little bit. I haven't really gotten, like, I'm like Mecca Random, bless her heart, and she's been very good to me, by the way. Shout out Mecca Random. She gets attacked all of the time. People are after her all the time. Nobody really goes after me. So
just wait. I mean, you've come on my channel, so there are some people that passionately hate me. So I would like you to, be prepared for that. But knowing you, just after, this conversation, I already know that you can handle it.
Yeah. No, I'm not too fussed about it. I just don't get worked up over it. Okay, you sound like an idiot. Bye.
Yeah. That's a good mentality to have, especially when one of the things that I find, so ironic, like, so how would you use this word? Like, I want to say like humorously ironic, but I don't think that's describing it well enough. But like you just said, your story, you went to the theater, this was a tradition between you and your family. You went with your brother. It was 45 minutes away. You were excited to see it. And then, as you watched it, your heart just, was getting ripped in half. And then you drove home and silent, especially when, that's something that's very out of the normal. For somebody to lash out and say that what you felt in that moment was wrong, what, how hurt you were in that moment, how hurt you've been because of that is wrong. That's something that I don't think, me, you, or anyone in the Fandom Menace stands for, because this is something that we love that was attacked. And I think that that's very important that, someone like you, somebody, or like all of us in the Fandom Menace, we get out there and we put ourselves out there and express ourselves in that way. Like, just when you had your reaction to, the rise of Skywalker, and just for everyone that hasn't watched it yet, Mary did a video on it. And in the video, she calls her mother to tell her mother the thing with Palpatine. And even Mary's mother is just like, what? That doesn't sound right. Is your mother a big Star Wars fan too?
Yeah. So it was really a whole family thing. Now, my mom, she's a normie.
Gotcha.
So she likes Star Wars. She can tell you, she can have a conversation about the original trilogy. She can have a conversation about the prequels. She can have those conversations. She's not really into any of the external stuff. She's never read any of the books. I don't think she's ever watched Clone Wars. But she does love this. She does love Star Wars. I think part of the reason why she loves Star Wars so much is because she recognized that this was something our family convened around. Right. And so, like any good mother, she dove into it head first and said, if this is what my family loves, if this is what we're going to bond over, then this is what we're going to bond over. And I'm 100% in. And so I think it's not so much for love of Star Wars so much as it is for love of her family.
Yeah.
When you love someone so much that you get to a point where you love what they love, that's
yeah. I feel like our kind of the way that we grew up was very, very similar. Like, same thing with my father. Like, we watched these things together. My mother, she can tell you who Yoda is. She can tell you what happened in the movies, but like, and she always buys me like the same Stormtrooper notebook. And it's not that she likes Stormtroopers. It's just like, oh, she's like, oh, this is something like Anna would like, something like that. That's a very mothery thing to do.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Even did she, as a normie, did she have the same reaction to The Last Jedi?
She didn't see it. Well, not in theaters.
Okay.
Because I told her not to. So we called because they weren't going to go see it. So she did see it on video, but my mom had this sort of warning, right? I called her because we were going over to the house the next day to do Christmas while I was here, right? So I called her because they were going to go see it. And I said, Mama, don't do that to yourself.
Don't do it.
And she was like, what are you talking about? It's Star Wars. Of course I'm going to go see it. And I was like, Mommy, you don't understand.
It's bad.
Luke and a space cow and green juice out of the cow into it, and I can't. And she was like, is this decent? And I was like, kind of not.
No.
She was like, you're telling me there's an indecent Star Wars film? And I was like, Mom, it's pretty gross. And she was like, well, then we'll wait. So
save your money.
She waited, and then, she was just sort of like, what is this? So yeah, she's not thrilled either. She notices propaganda when she sees it. She knows what she's seeing on screen. She's not oblivious to that. She just we just never expected it in Star Wars.
Yeah. It was, the modern myth being told through the hero's journey, and then now it's just, let's take propaganda and shove it down your throat.
Yeah.
And
curious, question, just want a little feedback from you. If they are so inclined to empower women, or they think women are so empowered, why do they think we need their help?
That is a good question. Also, Ed, this is one thing that I am so baffled by, is that they feel like now we need to have 10 women on the screen for, every man. And it's like, but we're strong enough to only need one. Like, Princess Leia did the work of all the guys combined and more at some point. Princess Leia was stronger than Luke the entire time. We didn't need any other women. We had Princess freaking Leia. What Han Solo couldn't do what Princess Leia did. Luke Skywalker couldn't do. I mean, Princess Leia being brought on board the Death Star, being tortured, facing Grand Moff Tarkin, can't even talk Tarkin, and then watching her planet get destroyed. I mean, come on.
Yeah, an absolute beast. And, not to mention, she murdered her captor with the chains he used to enslave her in a gold bikini to boot.
Yep.
What more do you want?
I know, that female empowerment right there, but they just don't understand that nowadays. And I think a lot of it has to do with the people that don't. I honestly felt like watching The Last Jedi, I'm like, this person's never seen Star Wars. They don't know they've seen kind of the marketing, oh, here's the Jedi type of character, here's the Stormtrooper type of character, here's these, they kind of know archetypes. They don't know much about them. They just know, oh, here's this type of archetype, here's this, here's this, here's this, here's the spaceships that they use. Let's tweak them. Let's kind of modernize the costuming and the special effects, and let's do it. And it's it's a jumble fuck of nonsense.
Get your story straight first.
Exactly. And yeah, I mean, I've right there with you. It's we don't. You want to say that I'm empowered by watching this? It's it's not. It's very insulting, and it's limiting us to saying that we can only identify with a character if there's a female on the screen that looks like us.
Isn't that funny? How narrow-minded must women be if they can only identify with another female? How simple-minded and small must we be as people if we can never be inspired by a male? I'm sorry, that's insulting. That's really insulting.
It is. And I mean, just off the top of your head, I mean, you said Obi-Wan and Luke, but who was the character out of all of the ones on their journeys throughout Star Wars that you identified the most as when you were, growing up?
When I was growing up, it was Luke as a little girl.
Same.
It wasn't that I identified with him so much. It was
you could relate with him on his journey.
I wanted to strive to be him. I wanted to be him. I wanted to be this person with unending compassion, with this person who could see another human being who has done so much to harm the world around them, and see. It was like Beauty and the Beast. It was like Belle, right? It was this person who saw the glimmer of hope for salvation within another person, that to hold out and try to do whatever you could to save them, to bring them back to the good side. That was Luke. And I wanted to be him. I wanted to be the kind of person who could reach down in their soul and hope for the salvation of someone who was beyond redemption. I wanted to be that person. He was Space Jesus.
I mean, yeah. He inspired a lot of people, and seeing, and this is why I say, they didn't watch Star Wars when the people that are working at Disney that are doing this, they did not watch it, or else they would see it and they would know how fundamentally wrong everything that they did was. And I don't think that they honestly expected the type of backlash that they've gotten, especially, from people like you, from people like me, from people like Jesse, from people like Mecca, from like, they want to say that they're going to be the savior of all women, but it's like, look at the women who actually loved this and watched it. And I mean, I hate having to say that because I don't like using my gender as something as defining me on how I liked a movie, because it has nothing to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so it's just a complete, failure, but it's something that we're never going to be able to change it. Obviously, Carrie Fisher's gone now. They can't remake it the way that they could have, or the way that they should have made it in the first place. And so it's just that hurt that I feel like, I don't know if it's the same for you, but for me, it's like this is, it's like a knife in, and I'm always going to have that scar there from what they did.
Well, they've decided to go and weaponize women, and weaponize a gender. So fine, you want to weaponize a gender? Let's weaponize my gender. You made the rules. You made the ruls. Let's go.
Yeah, and something tells me they're not good at chess, nor do they know the rules.
You're not gonna like it.
No, you're not gonna like it when people come at you with knowledge and facts.
Well, because real in terms of females, right? Like real Star Wars fans are going to come at this and go, no, hold on a second, and handle that, right? And I've met so many across this wonderful community. And look, I'd be stupid to ignore the fact that women are something of a minority within a Star Wars or any real nerd geek fandom, right? Of course we're a minority, because it takes a little special something to spark that kind of desire in a female, right? But that doesn't mean that we don't exist, and that doesn't mean that there aren't plenty of us. I have met so many strong, capable, beautiful, smart, brilliant, empowered women within this community who sit there and go, no. And here's why. Stop using my gender as an excuse to push your propaganda. I don't appreciate it. It's demeaning. It's disrespectful. And I would rather you not use me as a tool for your own ends. That's disrespectful. Especially when you're trying to use,
something that, nobody gets to choose what gender they are when you're born. You just come out and that's what you are. So it's like, why are you trying to weaponize something that, nobody even gets a choice in? You know? I mean, the only thing that's been handy about, like you said, yes, it is, I'm not blind to it that there's not going to be as many women here. I mean, look at within the Fandom Menace, there's how many women, like female channels versus male. Doesn't matter. I don't care that there's less of us and more of them. The only thing that matters is when you go to a meetup, there's a shorter line for the bathroom in the women's. I don't have to wait for the bathroom. That's the only time it's a perk. Because
everywhere else,
everywhere else there's a long line.
So, I love that.
For us, there's no shortage of us. Star Wars Celebration, when I went, I was like, I don't have to wait in line for the bathroom.
Oh no!
And I mean, even that's going to be changing soon. I don't want to get into all of that, but I mean, that was one thing I talked about with Jesse. I'm like, I love that there's no line. This never happens.
And I lagged out, or either I lagged out or you lagged out. One of us did, but I lost you for a second there.
Oh, okay. I was just gloating about how there's no line for the bathroom.
Oh yeah, I think I lost you for a second. I'm so sorry. It was probably me.
You're fine.
It was probably me. I'm so sorry.
You're fine. You're fine.
So
same. No harm, no foul. I don't think.
Computer incoming. This will be not a problem here probably by the end of next week. So new computer incoming.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that was amazing. Talking about what terrible people are in the Fandom Menace. Bull. They all pulled together and got me a computer. Are you crazy? Oh, they don't respect women though.
Well, I mean, I have never been more blown away by, this community and everything after, what happened with my sister, and then, what everyone did for us. That was, one of the most incredible things. And, my family, they've always, seen me as, the oddball in the family. I'm the weird one that likes Star Wars, but then the only time it worked out in my favor was at Christmas. Everyone kind of knew what to get me. You're like, let's just get Anna Star Wars. She'll be happy. And it's like, I am happy with all of that. But I was kind of something that it made them start taking everything serious when, everything that happened and the way it worked out. So when anyone ever tries to say that we're all these horrible things and calling all of us names and calling my friends name, calling, people like you who like, I'm just getting to know, calling other people that are in this community that I haven't even spoken to because it's so large, because Star Wars is a huge thing. There's going to be hundreds, if not thousands, of people that are going to rise up to defend it. And to say that every single one of those people that do nothing but try to help each other and, are there, we're all there for each other when we need them, to say those horrible things about them, that's just wrong.
Yeah.
And, that's why I really want to start highlighting people to, if they see us as humans, it's harder for them to say horrible things about us. And everyone has their story. Everyone has their story on how Star Wars came into their life. Everyone has their story about what happened when they watched the sequels. I mean, just with you, that I can 100% picture driving with someone that I know would talk the entire time and just being heartbroken because I know what it was like to watch the stupid Last Jedi,
We all have that sort of story that after we saw it, sort of broken and it was different obviously for people, but after seeing it, how we sort of broke, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for some it happened quicker than others. I knew I was numb right away, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was wrong right away. I didn't get angry for a couple weeks. Others got angry first and then went numb. Others couldn't accept it at first and then got angry, but we all know we broke. We all remember breaking at some point. But this symbol, and symbols are important. People underestimate the power of symbols in our culture, in our lives, because they give you something to strive towards, a pinnacle to model yourself after, to try to reach towards as an aspiration for your own personal, rules, for your own personal kinds of ethics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those things are important. Luke Skywalker provided that for a great many people. And there people find it in different ways, but Luke Skywalker was an example of how to be to to multiple generations. And you took him and you slaughtered him. You degraded him and then slaughtered him. And that broke people. People say it's just a movie. It's not a movie. It's not just a movie, okay? It's an icon. It's an example. It's something to aspire to. We need those. We're people. We're human beings. It's how we connect to the world around us. It's how we teach ourselves to interact with one another. It's not just a movie. These are the stories of our lives. It's just as important as Hercules was to the Greeks, right? Like, these are just important to us, just as important. And to take them and to turn them into something you don't recognize and then murder it is heart-wrenching for people. Of course we reacted this way. What did you expect? You were careless and callous with something we loved.
Amen. You just spoke for every single person within the Fandom Menace. And I don't think anyone's going to disagree with anything you just said. It's crazy the times that we've gotten to now, and I still see people going, that was 2 years ago, you're still complaining about it. It's like, I'm gonna be hurt for a long time. When you're betrayed and when you're hurt to the extent that people were by The Last Jedi, it's not going to go away overnight. 2 years, I'm finally, I've finally gotten to that stage of numbness. I'm not over it. I'm still upset by it. The fact that it exists enrages me, but, it's not going to go away. It's going to be something that takes time to, get this image out of my head kind of thing.
And it's hard to heal a wound that you never pay attention to. Lucasfilm and Disney have gone out of their way to ignore this wound, to basically cover it up, and cover it up in ways that aren't beneficial to the healing process. If anything, they've kept the wound open at this point. So I'm not really sure. It's not just that we're just sitting here still angry about it. It's that they keep ripping the wound back open in multiple ways. So how are we supposed to heal? How are we supposed to? You've never made that possible.
Especially when, they just insult us when we're down. And they, continue to do that. And then, they label us as like trolls or misogynistic man babies that live in a basement. It's like, no, that's true.
There's a lot of man babies in basements, I've noticed. I honestly think there must be a lot of moms out there who are really ready to get rid of their kids, because I'm not going to lie. I just don't think there's enough moms out there who are willing to let their 34-year-old sons live in their basements that long.
Yeah.
I just don't think that. Like, we're talking about millions of people here, guys. Like, let's just go by geeks and gamers, right? Like, Jeremy has 200,000. I'm sorry, I just don't know enough moms to believe that there's 200,000 moms out there going, when are you gonna get a job? So yeah, I just don't.
Plus, a lot of people don't have basements anymore. So I don't know what their whole thing is. I'm like, I mean, I the only house I ever lived in that had a basement was like when I was a baby, and even then, I'm just like, that's not what a basement is used for. But all right, whatever, guys.
In the basement in the dark with your cloak up and your little candle going, I'll never forget.
Oh my goodness, that was a very heavy little topic we just covered. But I kind of want to get back onto how. Because one of the first things that you and I talked about when, proper Jeremy handed me the phone at Star Wars Celebration was we were talking about cosplaying. And you already said, the first time you did it was when you made the cloak for your brother. So how has what's happened, has it made you want to not be into cosplaying because the characters now they are what they are, and kind of how you got into cosplaying, how you learned how to sew and all that. Tell us about your cosplaying journey.
So cosplaying, so as I said, when I was young, like 18, 19 years old, I recognized that I had a talent for cosplay, and I can make anything out of anything. Can I show you something?
Sure, of course.
All right. So if you guys are familiar with Rookie Critic, who is a wonderful friend and has a wonderful channel. He's actually doing something called Rookie's Quest right now. I have got a few scenes in that as Rita Repulsa. So he calls me up and he says, hey, can you do Rita Repulsa? I was like, well, I don't have a Rita Repulsa costume. And I'm going through some transitions right now. So I'm sort of here at home with my family or with my brother. And I don't have a whole lot of ability to go out and buy the things I would need to make something well. So he's like, I don't care, it's fine, just whatever you can do. So I scrounged up some foam, aluminum foil, and an old sweatshirt. And this is my Rita Repulsa.
Oh my gosh,
hat.
That's awesome.
I can make anything out of anything. Now this is sad, actually. This is quite pathetic.
No, that looks great. I mean, I couldn't make that.
So I can make anything out of anything. This is actually quite terrible. This is a pretty terrible example.
Well, this is it looks good on camera.
It's aluminum foil and foam and a sweater. That's all this is. So
hey, if it works, it works.
It did the job. It's held up so far. It's done its job. No, I learned how to make anything out of anything, and so it took a few years. I think I was probably about 26 or so when I started actually cosplaying. I've only done the 2 cosplays for Star Wars, and it was just a Jedi, right? I didn't have a name. I just was a Jedi, purple cloak. Decided to go mini skirt, and I'm fairly decent with face paint. I use Mayron, so I've done that a couple of times. Mostly I cosplay characters from a different show called Ruby, which is an American anime, the only one of its kind, really. And I do a character named Nora. So, yeah, I'm pretty proud of that. And it was something I did for my kids, my stepkids. I made their first cosplays. My daughter won first place.
Oh, what was she?
Do what?
What was she? What was her
She
costume?
was the lead character from the show Ruby. So as Ruby Rose, and she won. She won. I was so proud. I was so proud, and I think I made her scythe, her weapon. I made it out of an old Halloween scythe that I just essentially hot glued cardboard to, then spray painted and did the detail work on it. So I can make anything out of anything. So yeah, I mean, like most of my
handy thing to have.
Do what?
It's a handy trait to have.
I'm crafty. So yeah, mostly I've done Ruby. I've done I did a warlock one. This is D&D thing. I did a warlock cosplay once as well, and that was a lot of fun. But yeah, so yeah, cosplay's fun. It just depends. I don't do it as much now just because of the transition that I'm going through.
Yeah, and plus, I mean, when I see the cosplayers at conventions, they get so into it, and it's like, that's expensive, you know? It's an expensive hobby.
Very expensive. And if you're not getting paid for it, like I am not getting paid for it, if your finances aren't on point, then it's not as much of an option. You can cut corners, obviously, and do it cheaper, but either way, it's still...
Yeah, it's something that it's like, it's some... you'd have like play money for. Like some people have like cars that they they're play cars. Some people have these things or that thing. It's like cosplaying is its own entity.
Yep, it is. And don't call it a costume, because it's not a costume, it's a cosplay. very, very particular about our cosplays, so yeah, but it's a lot of fun. And quick pro tip, if you ever see a cosplayer, and of course be polite and ask, can I take a picture with you? But I promise you, if you run across the 1 in a million cosplayer that says no, it's on them. They're the weirdo, okay? Cosplayers dress up expecting to take pictures. We would go into the main entrance area of the Javits Center for NYCC, and I could not. It would usually take me an hour just to get through the front area to get to the floor so that I could walk it, because it was constantly stuck. Can I take your picture? Can I take your picture? Can I?
Yeah.
And the answer is always yes. That is my day. That is what I devoted my day to, was cosplaying that day. I knew what I was getting myself into. I knew I was going out dressed up, that I was going to be taking pictures all day long. So don't be ashamed. You ask that cosplayer. Feel free. If they're not going to mind. So
yeah, especially when they put all that work and time into it. Yeah, it's like, yes, let's memorize this forever.
We work on our poses. We sit there and we will work on what it is we're meant to look like when people take our pictures, so that we're consistent and we always look correct. We want our picture taken. We would be insulted if it wasn't. So yeah, absolutely. Ask for that picture.
Is there like one cosplay in particular that's like your favorite one to do that you have done?
Nora. There's been 2 different versions of Nora that I've done. I'm most proud of the volume 4 cosplay that I did for Nora from Ruby, because this is hard to explain. So Nora has what is known as a semblance, which is sort of like her superpower, right? Everyone has semblance if you unlock it in the world of Ruby, or Remnant, as is known in the show Ruby. And so hers is, she's like female Thor. Okay. Cool. Only really cool.
I'm gonna Google this so I can see what she looks like. It's called Ruby?
Yes, RWBY. Yes. Nora. I am Nora, and Nora is me. And so I was particularly proud of that cosplay because I sewed L wire, which is a light up. It's light up wire, right? Into the costume, so that I resembled her semblance and made it flash, so it looked like I had electricity running all over me.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I was pretty proud of that one. So that's my favorite so far.
I'm looking at her now. She's the red and black character with like the...
That's Ruby. You're looking for Nora. So Nora is actually pink. Like, you'll see a whole lot of pink on Nora. She's redhead.
Okay, let me type in Nora.
Nora's a redhead. So, yeah. If you've ever
yeah. She's got the little the thing, and she's got like the heart.
Yes.
And like red kind of spike.
Yep. That's me. Nora. I am Nora, and Nora is me. We'll break his legs.
I never pictured you as a pink person.
I'm very pink. Very into pink. I'm a girl.
See, my mother, everything was pink. The house was pink. The carpets were pink. The walls were pink. The car was pink. The car matches the carpet. It's pink. Everything was pink. So I'm like, pink.
I don't know if I go that far.
I'll have to show you a picture of my mother's car. It's insane. Everywhere she takes it, because it's a graffiti car, so she like restored it and everything and painted it pink. It's a lot of pink. So it's like, seeing this, I'm like, my mother would love that if this character was blonde like her, because my mom likes characters that, you know, blonde and pink. She's like, makes her happy. But I had never pegged you as a pink person.
So pink is, I love pink. I do love pink. I'm more of a purple girl.
Okay, gotcha.
So if I had to pick a color, it's purple, right? It's actually a very specific purple. It's like just slightly darker than a lavender, but lighter than a royal purple.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I love purple, but pink is very feminine, and you could say that I'm very feminine, and I like to be feminine, and I'm pretty proud of my femininity.
And pink usually does look good, like when you have colored eyes and like dark hair. That's one thing I think pink like helps amplify features in that way.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I know that people have color palettes that they go with. I'm just like, that's pretty. So
I want to have the pretty stuff. And, you know, that's something that I think that they're not understanding, and like back onto the culture wars, is that they don't understand it's okay for girls to like girly things. Like, I saw this commercial now, and I can't remember if it was on the radio or if it was on TV. I just remember, and it sticks with me, and it's like, oh, our generation had princesses, the new little girls have generals. And I was like, a princess outranks a general, you idiot.
Exactly. What the heck? What is wrong with you people? And a princess who's active and involved in the kind of caretaking of her country is going to have a lot more say and influence over things. Why the heck would you want to take that away from a girl?
Why would you demote her? And I was like, did you not watch the originals where Princess Leia, everyone is, you know, listening to Princess Leia? She's the leader after her father passed away, after her planet was destroyed. They all the generals listen to the princess. So taking away her princess title, not only is that disrespectful to her father's memory, her planet's memory, by taking away her title of princess, because she is the heir, even though Alderaan's not there anymore. All the people that, you know, survived that were off world when Alderaan was destroyed, she is their princess who should be their queen. Taking that away and demoting her to general, I'm like, again, you don't know the source material. You don't even know how, you know, social statuses work. So it's one of those things. It's like, okay, so girls aren't allowed to like girly things anymore. You know, we can't have feminine looking characters unless they're purple haired weirdos that are hitting on their, you know, their captains, you know, the Poe whole dynamic thing. It's like, oh, let me ask you, because this is something that I found, like, when I say this to guys, they don't really pick it up until I like talk about it. Like, I remember having this conversation with Jeremy and Odin, but when you watch Last Jedi, when purple-haired weirdo is talking to Poe, did you get that vibe that she was like using her power to like belittle and hit on him?
She's a twat.
Exactly.
She's a twat. Yeah, I knew that right away. I disliked her from the moment she came on screen. And I knew who she was. I read the book. Okay, I know exactly who Haldo is. I get the hair. I know that in the book they with the hair or whatever. So it wasn't even the hair. I was a little thrown off by the ball gown, because that didn't really make any sense or whatever. But I knew from get-go when they were like, when they had Poe say, that's her, that's General, or that's Admiral Haldo. She looks different than I thought she would. I knew right then. I knew something was amiss. And then when she starts talking to him, and she's like, so stick to your post, and she's talking to him like he's a piece of dirt.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going, I hate you. I cannot stand women who act that way. It's so over the top. Men don't act that way. Men don't act that way. They are confident enough in their power and their authority that they simply go ahead and delve out tasks. They talk to you like you're a person, and you go do your job, and everything's fine. Only really insecure psycho women act that way, because they're not sure of themselves. I'm sorry, but you made yourself look like an idiot. You made yourself look like a power-hungry psycho. No one appreciates that. No one wants to talk to a person who acts that way. It's not powerful. It's pathetic.
Yeah, and I mean, it's using your power to manipulate. And I mean, the way that she was talking onto him, I was like, even when she like lowered her voice a little bit and was like, "Oh yeah, you're dangerous," and I'm like, she's flirting, she's using her power to belittle him, and then hit on him at the same time. And I'm like, this is what I tell everyone. I was like, you want to defend that character? Just imagine, just for a second, get out of your little bubble. What would you do if Poe was a female character and that was a male character? Think about the words that are coming, the body language, the tone of voice. If that character was a male speaking to a woman,
dead on.
Sexual harassment right there. That modern day right now, that admiral wouldn't have a job anymore. But because it's a woman, it's okay, and I can't stand that. It drives me crazy. Exactly like you said. I mean, that twat is not a word that I usually go to. I usually use the C word for anything, but even that, I'm like, she's not even worthy of that, because it's just the strangest character that I never expected to see in Star Wars. And it's like, you want to say that this is a children's movie, but you're showing a sexual predator in a children's movie, and she's getting a kick off of belittling Poe.
Yep.
And using her superiority to mess with him. And then at the end, when she's like, "Oh yeah, I like him," it's like, yeah, we know you liked him. You were just putting like sexual innuendos in that whole scene, and you're using that to try to start something with him. It's disturbing, and it's wrong.
Yeah, it's an abuse of power. It's absolutely what it was. It was an abuse of power. And it came across as though she were very unsure of herself. So she had to flaunt it even more, as though that were somehow going to draw him into her, convince her, or whatever. No, sweetie, no one enjoys that. No one appreciates that.
And we already saw it done the right way with Princess Leia.
Yeah, absolutely. Princess Leia she didn't go about having to act like a putting everybody down like twat waffle kind of way. And I'm sorry, I know that's a weird word to use or whatever, but it's my word. Jeremy stole it from me. It was my word first. So no, I mean, like, yes, she was powerful, and she let people know that or whatever. And a little bit there in the beginning, she's playful or whatever, like he's gonna get us all killed or whatever. But look, she didn't push people down. Right, she worked with the people who were within the group with her, right? Mm-hmm. And there's a nuance there that these movies don't know how to pick up on, and that's what's sad and pathetic to me, is that you don't understand the nuances within these characters. Why can't you get a female character down well, right?
Because they don't know how to write a female character.
They don't. They really don't.
This is something. It's like I feel like, because when I saw there was a little screenshot going around on Twitter of like one of the things that Rian Johnson said in an interview with the lady that was designing costumes, because the costume lady, she originally for Holdo designed sorry, I feel like I'm about to get the hiccups because I just drank my Mountain Dew so fast, but originally she designed her in a uniform, and he said, no, put her in a dress because she's going to be flirting with him. And I was like, so a woman has to be in a ball gown to flirt with a man? Like, you have Rose in a potato sack, and then she sexually assault. Like, this whole Last Jedi is just women sexually assaulting men and getting away with it.
You have Rose in a potato sack.
She is. She's in a freaking potato sack. You put that beautiful woman in a potato sack. You give her. This is something that I'm also like, sorry guys, I have to do this. Only a guy would pick out that stupid hairdo, because us women, when we put our damn hair up, we have bobby pins. Bobby pins were invented for a reason, and hairspray was invented for a reason, so we don't have these little baby hairs sticking out like that. That's what I thought. I was like, what the hell? Who did her stupid hair? She has her hair up in a ponytail. Those things are far enough. They're big enough you can put those back to. Nobody's going to wear their hair like that, especially when you're working. You want that out of your face. This little thing's going to everywhere.
Women spend time on their hair. There's no doubt. I spent 45 minutes straightening this mess today. Okay, women spend time on their hair. They agonize over it, and to act like I don't know what they're thinking. And that dress was ugly.
It was
ugly. It was so ugly. No woman in her right mind would wear that thing. She looked like she should be a curtain. It was just ridiculous looking.
It made me think of like a hospital gown. Like the Bride of Frankenstein, because she had the long sleeves and like how it was kind of drapey, but still, I'm like, okay, Laura Dern, she's a beautiful woman. She's an older woman. So I understand, she can't wear, certain things. But I mean, even look at Princess Leia. Princess Leia had grace and poise. And I mean, her dress in the first Star Wars movie wasn't the most flattering thing ever. But I mean,
the way she looked in The Last Jedi.
She works so regal, But, and then with this, it's like, you're trying too hard to sexualize somebody that shouldn't be sexualized. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they want to say that's empowering to women. It's like,
you're on a ship in space as an admiral. Why aren't you wearing a uniform?
Mm-hmm. And see the what people said back was, oh, well, Princess Leia was wearing a dress in the first movie. I'm like, that's because she just came from a meeting with the Imperial Senate. You're supposed to be formal. She's on a diplomatic mission to Alderaan. Mm-hmm. She literally just left the Senate. She's in her Senate attire. That's why in every other movie she's wearing her uniform or clothes for the situation. The only reason she's in that dress is because she just came from something formal and she was going somewhere formal. She wasn't expecting to go fight a battle and to get kidnapped.
It's because they didn't give any thought to this stuff. That's the problem here. And it shows in every aspect of the film, right? In every aspect of the film, you can break this down and you can look at it that there was no thought given. They simply decide to make a reference, to do something for a reason external to the plot, external to the story. Their reasons for doing things almost never have anything to do with the actual story that's supposed to be being told or driven. And that is the biggest issue that I find with this, is because your agenda outweighs every bit of the story you are trying to tell us. It doesn't matter if it doesn't make sense to you, because it made sense to your narrative, and that's all you cared about.
And even their narrative is flawed. You want to empower women when you only make us look like sexual predators and idiots?
Yeah.
It's like that. Your narrative is animal rights. Okay, why don't you actually read Star Wars, learn about how, you want to say capitalism bad? Show that with the Empire or the First Order, the knockoff. You want to show, okay, well, they show how they treat the Emperor treated aliens like animals.
Right?
Like they're repressed.
To them. He was horrible to them. If you'd read any of the books, you would know that he was absolutely wretched to aliens. He much preferred humans, and he would elevate them and mistreat aliens. And but they don't know any of this source material. If you want to show this stuff, do it in a practical way that makes sense and adheres to the storyline here, that adheres to the world and the universe that you're working within. You could have gotten this across. You could have done this, but you cared more about the narrative than the story. If you'd actually cared about Star Wars, or at least been willing to get people who did care about Star Wars to work with this on you, but no, you didn't. You were careless. You were completely and utterly careless with the stuff that you misunderstood the value and the depth of the toys you were playing with. You misunderstood, and you got into someone else's sandbox. You wrecked the sandcastle that looked great, and then you beat the sand with your little spatula and said, "Look what I made!" And everybody went, "That sucks." You were upset when everybody went, "That sucks. Why did you wreck the really cool sandcastle we had?"
Yep. Couldn't have said it better. And it's just, it's exhausting to, have, because it's like 2 + 2 = 4. I understand that. You understand that. But then when you talk to people about it, you talk to when Disney and they come out with these articles, it's like they want to say that 2 + 2 = 3 or it equals 5. And it's like, no, 2 + 2 = 4. Just look at the calculator. Oh, no, we don't need a calculator. We do it by, we own the calculator companies. We don't need to look at the calculator to know. It's like, but you're not even looking at the thing that can answer all your questions, that can prove the point. And it's something that I think it's a battle that we're all going to have to continue fighting until people understand that 2 + 2 = 4, which is a crazy concept to me that people don't understand that. But I mean, it's the world that we live in, unfortunately.
They don't actually care about whether or not 2 + 2 = 4. And the fact that there is an answer to that question is inconvenient. 2 + 2 is simply a method, a venue which they can use to reach an entirely different question. Because 2 + 2 = 4 is simple, right? So, but that's not even what they're focused on. It's just a tool. It's just a tool that they can use. So rather than focusing on the legitimacy of the question or the answer, they find it as inconvenient. They simply want to use something that is easy for people to look at and then manipulate it. And if they can get it close enough, well, 2 + 2 might as well be 3, then maybe people won't notice. And when you point it out, it's an inconvenient fact, and they would much rather ignore it.
Yep. And it's opened my eyes a lot, because I'm one of those people that it's like I kind of stay in my cave, and I say this all the time, I live under a rock. I've always lived under a rock. I mind my own business because I am very antisocial. I don't like being around people. I grew up on a ranch with my family and animals. I have a few close friends that I see for, human contact, but I'm completely content being by myself. ObiWan Kenobi living in the desert on Tatooine, looking at Luke every now and again with binoculars, making sure everything's fine, just messing with the Force, being on his own. That's freaking paradise to me. Yoda living on a swamp, I will do that in a heartbeat. But so with everything that was going on, I was kind of numb to it because I was in college, and then, when The Force Awakens came out, I was in college as well. And so I was like so focused on college that I wasn't paying attention to all the social stuff. Like I tried not to notice all of that. And so when it came into Star Wars, I'm like, this is my sanctuary, this is my happy place, and you messed with that. And now you're trying to get your weird narrative weirdness into the thing that I love, and you don't even know anything about it. You didn't even care about it. You made fun of me my entire life for it. What the hell? But it's brought so many strong people forward. I mean, you and I wouldn't be having this conversation. I would have never made friends like, Jeremy or Jesse. I would have never talked to Ethan Van Sciver, the famous comic artist. I would never have done that. But everyone is kind of coming out, and I think it's a beautiful thing to see all these people coming, out of the woodwork defending Star Wars, because we're all fighting for the thing that we love, and we all will work together because we love it.
Yeah, we've been blessed, if nothing else. If nothing else, The Last Jedi managed to do one thing, one really beautiful thing. It brought us together. And I've met some of the most beautiful people. I've made some of the most wonderful friends. There would be no Merry Mayhem without proper Jeremy. I've said this over and over and over again. There is no Merry Mayhem without proper Jeremy. I just don't know what I'd do without the guy. I don't want to imagine a world that I would live in where I didn't know proper Jeremy, where I didn't know Rob and Tom from Midnight's Edge After Dark, where I didn't know Mecha Random, where I didn't know the Rookie Critic, where I didn't know Sith Kryptoni, where I didn't know Drunk 3PO. I don't want to imagine that world. I don't want to imagine that world because it's woefully incomplete.
Yeah.
You people are beautiful, and I'm blessed to know you. Yeah. So thank you, Last Jedi. You screwed everything else up. Got this one thing right.
Yeah, the one thing is it brought us all together, and I think that that's something that is kind of a trend as we go through. I always say, history is important because we have to look at history so that way we learn from our mistakes, that way we don't repeat them. But in times of absolute chaos, it's when it brings everyone together because we're all fighting the same battle, and I feel like that's it sucks what's happening, and I wish it didn't happen, but at the same time, I don't have a time machine. I can't change the past. Yeah. And I'm so grateful to, finally find my people in a way. That's what I keep saying. Because it's like, I've never met someone in real life where I can just sit down, aside from my father, I can sit down and, talk for hours upon hours about Star Wars and have the person that I'm talking to care and have the knowledge that I had. People usually oh yeah, I'll talk to you about Star Wars for 5 minutes about the movie and then mentally check out. You can see their eyes glaze over. So I'm happy that, we're all part of this community. And again, that's why I really want to, get to know everyone and highlight everyone's channels and everything. So tell us about your channel and how you said you were a watcher. So how you finally made the decision, what it was like to make your first video, put it out there, and, how that journey has brought you, how you are here today.
It was weird. Weird.
Yeah.
So I was chilling in a John Talks chat, talking to everybody, clack, 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 clacking away. And I met someone named Bonnie. Mm-hmm. And so she was saying, oh, I have a live stream that I do after this. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. She's like, you want to come on? And I was like, okay. So I go over there and, I meet some really cool, I met Proper Jeremy. I met Mara Jade. I met a number of people right there at the beginning. And I realized I was so pent up. It was weird. The difference between clickety clacking on a keyboard and then talking to a person, talking like face to face, as it were. And it was like this purge. I felt better. I felt home. I knew that I was with, like you said, like people.
Yeah.
And it was more than just that distance that you get when you're typing to a nameless person in a chat comment. No, I was meeting these people finally. And I was getting to know them. And I realized I didn't want to let that go. And then I realized I had something to say, that I could bring something to the table here. Because I am so sick and tired of seeing men treated like garbage. I'm sick of it. And I realized that while there may be plenty of women in the fandom, there aren't enough women inclined to use their voices. And I had something to say. So I started, and I was encouraged. I was encouraged so much along the way because people seemed to think that I could contribute. And proper Jeremy, first and foremost, was the most is the most supportive person in terms of YouTube that I have ever been blessed to know or interact with. I would say he's my YouTube bestie. No question about that. So proper, but from the very get-go, he was on my very first live stream. Him and my mom.
Oh.
My mom's like, I'll support you, sweetheart. And Proper's like, I'll come.
Aww.
And I was like, thank you so much. I don't know what I'm doing. And so he shows up, and he always shows up. Proper shows up. And then I got to meet Rookie Critic, and Rookie, who does everything for everybody all of the time, who's constantly pulling people into his projects and making sure that everybody has an opportunity to shine and engage and interact with people. I like to think of Rookie as the heart and soul of the fandom collective. You know, he's always working so hard for everybody. And seriously, big old shout out to Rookie. He's got Rookie's Quest 3 coming out on Friday, so you guys should definitely go sub and see that because it's so cool. Especially if you want to see me in a Rita Regalia and all that jazz. Like, I go full ham. So, but yeah, he helped me a lot so much. Sith Kryptonian, just started meeting people, and getting to know people, and becoming more confident in my ability to add a voice to this and to maybe bring a different perspective.
Was it just live streaming at first, or like did you kind of get into it with live streaming and then like start making like videos?
So I didn't have a camera.
Okay.
For the first couple of I had a camera, which was really shoddy, didn't really work very well, and then it broke. So for the first little bit, it was basically just live streaming, and I got really comfortable with that really quickly. And
yeah, because after a while, it just feels like you're just having a conversation with your friends, and it's like, oh yeah, and then there's people there commenting too, and it's like, oh okay, like the friends that couldn't get in the phone call, they're texting in the group chat kind of thing.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what it feels like. You're just having the conversations. You're having the conversations you would have with your friends about this stuff, but you're doing it in a way that is meaningful. It's contributing. It's putting it out there because now you have an impact, right? Now you're adding your voice to the social commentary that floats around the internet, the commentary that makes an impact on the properties and franchises that you love. Now you're adding to that, right? And it was just the streams for a while. Although there were the occasional videos. Like, I don't know if you remember this. This was a while ago now. It's like, oh gosh, man, like probably 7 months ago. I was using my phone and you had just gotten your puppy. And I was like, oh, don't you little puppy.
Yeah. You scared her because I was like, oh, it's for Tulip. And then I clicked on it and you're like, puppy. And I was like, oh, it was so loud. Yeah, she was so like skittish at first. My little baby, she's so big now.
She was it's when you see something adorable and you get that aggressive cuteness and you're like, oh my god. So that was the joke. So, and it doesn't take much to make me laugh. So I was highly amused at myself. And it's Anna. Yeah, we'll do an Anna video. Traumatize her dog.
I love it. I mean, I feel like when, people tell me like Tulip's cute, I'm like, of course she is. She's my little angel. So it's like, oh, people like my baby. She's my sweet little princess. She's being a little butt right now, but I mean, she's fine. I'll give her the T word and then she'll be good. The TREAT, that one. I have to clarify because somebody said a different word. I was like, no, I can't say the word. She'll freak out.
No, I appreciate the spelling because mine would have done the same thing. She'd be like, ah?
Yeah. Like, huh? It's like her head perks up and her like ears are like, and it's like, oh, you're so cute. You little fatty.
She's fatty.
She was like so fat and then she got long. But like she's got like the stubby little legs because she's got the face kind of like a pug, but pugs are kind of taller. And so Pekingese, they like got short little fat legs, and it's like, oh, and they're fluffy. Oh, my princess, she's my baby. She's a little butt.
Dude, our dogs have to hang out at some point.
What kind of dog do you have?
So it's kind of weird. She's a dwarf. She's a Great Pyrenees. So she was supposed to look like a polar bear. And instead I got this marshmallow.
Oh.
So, she's the sweetest thing you've ever met in your life. She flops over on her back when she meets a new person and she exposes her belly and she's like, go ahead, rub it. And so she's got the floppiest ears you've ever seen. Hey, you want to come here? Her name is Serenity from Firefly. Do you want to meet her?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, come here, baby. Come on. We're going to do this. Don't cry. She gets really, really camera shy.
Oh, how cute. Hi, puppy.
Yeah, camera shy.
Hi.
You want to say hi? That's Anna.
She's like, no. She's like, Mom, what are you doing?
Hey, okay, all right, 5 minutes. If you're not going to help, then get out.
Yeah, usually Tulip, I tell everyone's like, where's Tulip? I'm like, she's by my feet. Like, she doesn't. She's right here. She just, if I pick her up, she'll like be like, why'd you wake me up? But now she's in, she's in the kitchen right now. So she's actually probably, boyfriend's out washing his car, so she might have gone out with him. Oh, that means I'm gonna have to blow dry her. It's the only thing about her. She's so fluffy that if she gets wet, I have to like sit there for an hour with a blow dry.
I know the struggle. The struggle is real.
The struggle with puppies. But back to your channel. So is there like one video that you feel is like it kind of did it for you, that it's like, this is I'm in, the Fandom Menace now?
That I made?
Yes, that you made.
Yeah. It's the one that's highlighted on my channel.
Oh, the one about the men?
Yes. You could say that was sort of the thing that lit a fire under my belly was just noticing all these men. So I have an uncle who committed suicide. Men tend to do that. And people who actually commit suicide tend to be men. And there are a lot of reasons why men commit suicide, but one of them is the just constant, complete, and utter slandering of them by the world all around them. And I'm sick and tired of seeing good men. These men in our community are good men. They've done nothing but take wonderful care of us. And I'm so sick and tired of seeing them squished down and treated like garbage. Good men feeling like there's nothing left to push for. No reason to keep going. Because people talk down to them and treat them like their efforts aren't good enough. Like they're not good enough. And so it was the first time I'd ever edited a video. Because I was mad. I was mad. I was mad seeing all of these men being trampled all over. Having experienced a measure of loss in my own life and knowing the kind of despair that a man can go into when he feels like his efforts aren't good enough. Like no matter what he does, it's not enough. So I sat down and I learned how to edit. Because I didn't want to say a word. I just wanted to show people what men do.
Yeah.
And so I sat there feverishly learning what it meant to edit a video, cut here and video, and well, that audio doesn't quite work there. And how do I fade this in? And I don't know what I'm doing, but I wanted to do it. So I sat there tinkering with this video. And then when it was done, I said, it is time.
You're like, my masterpiece.
I put that up. And and it was well received, and the comments on it.
Yeah, I mean, I really like it. Yeah, for everyone that hasn't watched it yet, it's not to spoil it, but it's showing all these women that are saying like toxic, masculinity, and then showing just how great, men can be. Like all these dads, with their children, men putting themselves out there to help others. And it's like, you can't just accuse of one gender and like this one term, because you're not speaking for every single man, yet there are bad people and they come in every shape, size, color, and gender. You cannot bash on one group of people or one, gender for the actions of others, for the actions of one bad person. Or maybe, there's 7 billion people in the world. For maybe all the bad people in the world doesn't define every single person that is the same gender, race, religion as them.
Yep.
But
people are individuals. Start treating us like it. Start treating people like they're individuals. That's how you get to equality.
Yeah, I mean, do you think we would be in the same whole shtick if it was Princess Leia that was the Jedi and Luke Skywalker was the prince? Do you think that they would have completely deconstructed Leia as, this hermit that abandoned everyone and throws the lightsabers? They would have probably made her be, the center point of, this powerful Jedi, and then have Luke be like the evil prince that turned bad because they was jealous of his sister's power. They would have found a way to make him the bad guy because they want to push this narrative that men are evil.
It's hard to say exactly what coulda, woulda, should have happened.
Mm-hmm.
I never felt like Leia needed more empowering.
Yeah.
I don't really feel like there's anything you could have done to have further empowered Leia. She wasn't the main protagonist of the film.
Mm-hmm. She
was certainly the secondary protagonist of the film. And so short of making her the main protagonist, and she just wasn't. I don't really,
because this wasn't her story. She had already gone on her hero's journey. She's already a strong character. That's why she doesn't change. The only thing that changes about her is that she's already reached that point of, confidence and, maturity in herself, that she's ready for a relationship. And that's her and Han Solo. They've already established as people. They've already gone on their hero's journey per se. And now they're taking the next step in life, which is finding a partner. Whereas Luke, he's the one that's on the journey. This is Luke Skywalker's journey. It's him going from a boy to becoming a man, from going to a farm boy to a Jedi Knight. So you're right. Leia's not the protagonist. Luke is. Leia is one of the vital characters to everything. She is she's not a villain. She's helping the protagonist on his journey, but she's not the main character. Luke Skywalker is.
Yeah. And I don't feel like she ever needed more empowering. It's hard to say what would have happened if she had been the main character, right? That's really hard to say. Maybe they would push things, maybe they wouldn't. I don't know. I know that they've done a really good job of ignoring female protagonists throughout history up to this point. They seem to like to act like they don't exist. So I'm not altogether sure that it would have made much of a difference, because they keep trying to act like these powerful women in cinema don't exist, right? Like they keep pretending like,
you got one on the wall right behind you.
Do what? Oh, yes, actually, yes. One of my all-time favorite. Yes, incredibly. And back in the day, folks, this was an incredibly
the 30s.
An incredibly empowered woman, right? Like she didn't take shit from anyone. She got down on her hands and knees and worked in the dirt when it was necessary, and handled the finances when it was necessary. She was incredibly empowered. This goes back a long way, as far back as cinema goes. So what are you on about? What do you want about Hollywood? I don't understand your point. There have been strong women in cinema since the beginning, and trying to pretend that they don't exist, scrub them away, wash them from the history, doesn't make them not exist. I remember.
Yeah. And I mean, you can even go back to wartime when when we had World War II and all the men went away and all the women got jobs and we had that whole empowering moment. We had Rosie the Riveter. And it's like, there's always been strong women even before that. We had I mean, you can just go back and Joan of Arc. We had, Queen Elizabeth I. That there's always been strong women, and for them to just say, "Oh, well, now we're giving it to you. Congratulations, women, we're finally giving it to you." It's like, no, we've always had that, and we don't even have to go as far as going and looking at icons throughout history. It's like we can look at our mothers, we can look at our grandmothers, we can look at our best friends, we can look at all of the nurses, all of the doctors, all of the astronauts. Mm-hmm. You can't just limit us, and you don't necessarily have to just be looking at women. You can be looking at men too. You just look at a strong, empowered person and say, I like that person. I like what they're about. I want to be like that person. Doesn't matter if they're a man or a woman.
Anna, what a novel idea. Oh my gosh, can you imagine a world where a person could look around them and not give a crap about a person's gender and just be inspired? What a novel idea.
I know. How I miss it.
Why is this so lost on them? Why is this so lost on them? Why do we have to break this down like they're 2 years old? Why do we have to do that?
Because they don't understand math and the 2 + 2 = 4.
Fair enough.
How things have changed. Well, I keep getting off topic, but so you had that one video, and then obviously things have changed a lot since then. So tell us about like the evolution of your channel.
So it went fast, to be honest with you. It went really fast. I'm still learning a lot. I have a lot of help from a lot of people. I have wonderful, wonderful people around me all of the time. I'm still learning every day. It feels like every day I'm learning something new. But the goal is still the same, to fight back this tirade in our entertainment. And I believe with all of my heart that the more voices stand up and speak against this nonsense that is going on in our entertainment, eventually they are going to be overwhelmed by the tidal wave, right? Mm-hmm. Eventually they will be overwhelmed by us. You can't ignore us forever. We are here. We exist. And we are not alone. There are masses of us. And we are very sick and tired of it. So the goal is the same, to continue calling out the nonsense and to continue, since they've decided to weaponize my gender, going ahead and using that weapon that they've decided that it is. I even have I don't know if you've seen this, a whammon card.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Since they've decided to weaponize our gender, then fine, so be it. I will absolutely go ahead and use what it is that I have down below. Since you've decided it's so important, then go ahead and argue with me. Mm-hmm. Okay. So that's the goal, is to push back against this tidal wave, to make a change. And also, I'm trying to offer an alternative. Mm-hmm. So I do different stuff on my channel. I wanted to differentiate myself, to distinguish myself, set myself apart, because it's one thing to sit on a camera and fight back, right? But it's another to give people an option, to recognize that there's not a whole lot of places for them to go to get their entertainment anymore, unless they want to go to Hollywood. And so YouTube is a wonderful platform. Well, I can offer something. So I decided to shake it up a little bit, try to throw some things at the wall and see what sticks. And 3 things seem to have stuck. Shenanigans, which is my comedy variety show on Friday nights, sort of a welcome to the weekend, has evolved over time and really become a staple of my show. It is adult oriented, as in we're not going to watch our language. So some of the improv will have adult themes. Look, nobody's getting topless and running around.
It's just more language, right?
In language and some adult situations. Like, we do improv, right?
Oh, okay.
So the improv, some of that could be implied, like, hey, you've gone to In-N-Out Burger. What you thought was In-N-Out Burger, turns out that's a hooker's house.
maybe that's her name, her street name, In-N-Out.
Well, they put a sign up, In-N-Out, And so the poor guy was so confused, and he didn't understand what was going on. He just wanted a burger, and she's like, "Oh, darling."
This is going to cost a lot more than a burger.
Yeah,
and you might get an STD out of it too.
Right.
Is that something that you're into? Is improv?
Yes.
Oh, did you ever like do acting as a kid or something?
I participated. I was homeschooled and incredibly sheltered, and so I went to church, and I was brought up in Assemblies of God, and they had a program called Fine Arts, which I went to every year. I was frequently invited to nationals for my drama and acting. So,
oh, congratulations! That's exciting.
yeah, that was a long time ago now. But,
well, I mean, that's still an accomplishment.
did a lot of community theater and did some improv, and so yeah, it's something I enjoy. I have a lot of fun with. Rob and Tom from Midnight's Edge come on like every Friday, and they're so talented and gifted. They make me feel like an idiot sometimes. I'm sitting there like, wow, can't top that. They're so talented, and then it's an opportunity to showcase other talented individuals as well. It's a rotating panel, so different people within the community will come on. You'll get to see sort of people strut their stuff, see how talented and funny they can be, and it is a very funny show.
Sounds awesome. And that is Shenanigans on Friday night. What time?
Friday night at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific.
All right. If any of my mods can share Mary's channel in the chat, so that way if anyone wants to check that out. Today's Monday, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so today's Monday, so you got a few days. Put that in your calendar. So that sounds like a very entertaining thing for a Friday night.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. We do different things. We do karaoke. That was not my idea, by the way. I did not come up with that name. It was thrust upon me by my fellow YouTubers. Were like, this will work great. And I'm like, okay, so we do karaoke every other Saturday, and then we rotate that with D&D, my show called Failed Save, which is a Dungeons and Dragons show.
Oh, cool. So, I mean, yeah, Dungeons and Dragons. There you go. So we got Star Wars, Star Trek, now Dungeons and Dragons. You got anime. What else is under the spectrum of the things that you like?
Honestly, I'm not opposed to just about anything.
Okay. Is there anything that you can't stand then? Like, what is like the no-go? Like, do you not like horror movies or like
horror? I do not like horror. Well, that's not altogether true. I am not going to watch it alone. And if you're in the room, be prepared to be clawed and grabbed and hidden in. So I think actually Lee or General Zod, he's recently done a name change. He did a watch party of Alien. I'd never seen it.
Never seen it.
I watched it for the first time on his stream, and all you hear for the vast majority of the movie is me just going, oh no, oh.
Where is it? I have.
Okay. It's adorable.
These little thingies. Oh, it actually moves, so it'll go around your face.
Oh.
Tulip, I had to take them away because she was like destroying them, but
I'm good.
It's not as creepy as the movie because it's a stuffed animal, but I was like, oh.
I seriously could not handle it. It went out, and all you hear is me screaming in the background and Lee laughing maniacally.
You do not want to watch the second one, then?
I did watch the second one as per request. It was requested. I actually didn't think it was quite as bad.
It's probably because now you know what to expect, whereas going into Alien, it's like, what the hell is going on?
It was a horrifying movie. I just came out of stomach, and it was, oh, he's gonna die. He's dead.
So it happens when you mix two genres perfectly, when you have horror and sci-fi, and they have a baby together, which is Alien.
Jesus God, no, I'm good. I like sci-fi. I quite like sci-fi. No horror for me. I'm good.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm a huge baby. I have to like watch it during the middle of the day with all the lights on, and then I regret it instantly after.
I regret everything. So, no, I don't do the horror. I'm pretty open to just about anything in terms of geekdom, right? Like, I really will try just about anything once, but I just have I don't do horror.
Yeah. What about like X-Files, Lord of the Rings, stuff like that?
I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan. Huge Lord of the Rings fan. Huge Harry Potter head.
Oh, me too. What house are you in?
So it's Ravenclaw, but I have decided that is inadequate to describe me, and I much prefer to think of myself as more of a Gryffindor. So, because
Are you like,
comes in
you're
all.
like, you like Luna?
Yeah, exactly. Or, like even like Hermione, right? Like Hermione, she's almost a hat stall. They could have put her in Ravenclaw, but no, she's in Gryffindor. Like it's possible to belong in two houses. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm always surrounded by Slytherin. Like every time I go to Universal, to the Harry Potter land, I'm always in my like Gryffindor shirt because I'm a Gryffindor, and then my best friend's a Slytherin. Everyone looks at us, they're like, a Gryffindor and a Slytherin. It's like, yeah, it's fine.
It could happen. Look, okay, we saw what happened, with Snape, right? Like he was the most courageous man that Harry had ever known. It's possible.
Well, I've noticed that like Slytherins aren't very bad. They're not bad people. They're just ambitious, and that's one thing that I feel like, at least in like my family and like my circle, everyone was like, "What do you mean you're a Slytherin?" I was like, "No, I'm not." And they're like, "Why?" And I was like, "Because I value friendship and other things more than I value my own ambitions. Like I don't care about what that happens, because life is always going to take you, and you can never just expect it to go one way." And you can't have your heart and soul into it. I'd rather invest my time in the people that are important to me, And I mean, even look at this. Look at how, we're here today. I don't think at least in my wildest dreams, I never expected to be here having a YouTube channel, talking to people on the internet. I'm sure that you did not expect this as well.
No.
It's crazy the way that life, has its little journey for us.
It is. It's insane. It's insane. But I think if you're open to, as I've discovered, people in geek culture are quite open to a lot of things, right? If you're open to new experiences and being willing to sort of let life take you down certain paths, keep your head on your shoulders, but don't block out your dreams, you'll find that you'll end up in the most bizarre places. Yeah. And that's okay. And that can be all right. That can be a good thing. So I'm in love with this community. I am in love with this community. These are some of the most beautiful, wonderful, kind-hearted people I've ever met in my life, and I'm honored to know them. So
I second that.
I love you
guys. So before we get into like the kind of closing of the interview and into super chats, and then the final 10 questions that I warned you about, is there where do you see your channel going? Like, what are your goals for your channel? What do you want to do with this platform that you have?
Ideally, to make an actual change. So I'd like to attack this with two fronts, right? I'm coming at it from two fronts, not just tearing down this nonsense media that's being delivered to us and being honest about it, right? Like if I see something that I genuinely think is good, I'm going to be honest about that. I'm not going to hate for the sake of hate, right? Like there are a lot of people out there who are angry for the sake of being angry. I don't do that. If you haven't noted, well, you can't really see it, but on my wall, boom chagalaga, that's an Aladdin poster right there.
Was it good?
I enjoyed it. I really
I have not seen it yet.
I really enjoyed that movie. I felt like it was done well. I felt like it and a lot of people disagreed with me about it, and that's wonderful, and that's okay. We're allowed to do that. I'm not going to change my opinion for people. I'm not going to placate people just to make them feel better. But I do think it's important to have those voices out there tearing down the nonsense. The Lion King is a tragedy. Okay, it's a travesty and a tragedy. It is pathetic. They ripped it line for line. They just took what was there and said, let's slap a new coat of paint on it and call it ours. That's pathetic. You're bankrupt in terms of imagination. You need to do better. So attack this on two fronts. The goal for the channel is to attack this on two fronts. By first undermining the nonsense and the bad product that we are being given, by doing whatever I can to let people know whether or not something is decent or good and worth watching, or whether or not something is something you should skip this. You should know that this is what's going on with this. And if there's any measure of manipulation in terms of Hollywood towards people, that to do that and attack it on that front, and then to give people an alternative. Here's your alternative. You don't want to go see what you don't want to pay your money to go see that movie in theaters because it's junky. Well, what are you going to do with your Friday night? Come watch shenanigans.
There you go.
So that's the goal. Attack it on two fronts. We'll take it down systematically.
There you go. And that is a really great goal. And I think that's one of the things that, makes your channel very important, to the Fandom Menace. And I think that's, why, like I said in the beginning of this, that everyone that, you know, has spoken about you that I say I live under a rock, but, you know, I have my eyes and ears open. And, you know, when I see stuff, you know, yeah, you're not on Twitter very much. You don't get into Twitter battles, but what I do see, and, you know, then what I see in your videos, what I see in comments, even in, you know, chat rooms, everyone has I've never seen anything negative said about you. Everything that everyone says about you, everything that I've seen from you, it's like a beam of sunshine. And, you know, those goals that you have, they're very admirable things. And that's why I really did want to highlight you. And I really appreciate you, you know, coming here for, you know, 2 hours and getting interviewed.
Kidding me? Like, this is exactly where I wanted to be tonight. I was so thrilled to speak with you. So, shoot.
Well, I'm glad. I was excited to speak with you too, and, you know, finally, you know, do this and, you know, get back into the role of things, because, you know, we all know what happened, and, you know, we all know how shitty situations can happen in life, and, you know, we're all humans. So it's like, I'm glad to, you know, take the dive back in, and I'm glad that you agreed to be here. So, you know, and I'm really glad that, you know, my audience and all of, you know, the consistent 400 viewers that we are able to see this side of you and able to learn about you like this, for especially those that did not know you before.
Yeah, well, and if I may, not to get too super crazy over here, but I think we're all really, really proud of you. You know, like, you've jumped in and done, I think, far more than most people would have been able to do. Your resilience is impressive. It's just impressive. And so I'm privileged to know you. So
Thank
you're
you.
a doll baby.
I'm gonna try not to.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I made her cry. What did Mary do? She made Anna cry. So.
No, it's just one of those things that I've said before, and it's, you know, I've always been, you know, kind of a loner, and, you know, kind of stick to myself, and it still blows my mind that people that, you know, I've never met in person before, people that aren't, you know, in my life, you know, can say things that say things about me like that, and, you know, people in my real life, you know, don't even, you know, think that about me. So it means a lot. And yeah, thank you.
Very apparent. Anybody with eyes can look at you and see how resilient you are. You'd have to be blind not to. So
maybe just bottle it up, you know. But before the waterworks start, sorry everyone, I probably should have announced this at the beginning. When I do this show now, I'm not gonna read super chats as we go, because it keeps with the flow of conversation. So once the, you know, main portion of the interview is done, then I'm going to go and read super chats, and then once super chats are done, I will ask my guests the 10 questions, and then the show will be over. So I'm going to start reading super chats now. I understand that you guys are going to be asking Mary questions in this. So Mary, be prepared. And are you ready?
Let's do this.
All right. Ryan Bush, thank you for the super chat from 2 hours ago. Anna looks distracted by Mary's eyes. I can't tell what emojis that are. Might have said it already, but congrats on 150K and silver play button to Anna. You deserve it. Well, thank you. And yes, that is one of the key things when you interview someone. You do want to make eye contact with them. It is one of my pet peeves when people are having a conversation with me and they won't make eye contact with me. It infuriates me. It's such a sign of disrespect. And I am trying to keep an eye on the chat and, you know, also, you know, be in the conversation with Mary. So thank you for acknowledging it. And think about that, guys. When you are, obviously it's like you don't want to stare and be creepy and stare at them like this, but it's a sign of respect to, you know, be engaged in the conversation and to make eye contact with the person that you're talking to. But also know your limits so you're not crossing the creeper level.
See, I'm not so good at that. I'll just sit here and be like, so guess. Like, I'm not so good with the creepy line, but, you know, people tolerate me anyway, so thanks, guys.
I think people know when you're doing it. It's like not disingenuous. You're just, you know, that's just part of your personality. Whereas other people, they're just like, and it's like, okay. And then there's other people that like won't make eye contact with you, and it drives me crazy. But thank you, Ryan. And then Thomas Gilkey, thank you for the super chat. Sending love and big hugs to these two awesome people. Mary, 1,000 exclamation points. That's Star Wars girl, 1,000 exclamation points. And then 2 hearts. Well, Thank you, Thomas.
I love Thomas. He's fantastic.
I have never spoken directly to Thomas, but I see him online everywhere.
He's a doll baby. That guy, man, he gets around. He's always going to everybody's streams and commenting on all the videos and super chats everybody. That guy, he's such a wonderful member of the Fandom Menace, and he does some really in-depth streams on his channel where we talk about some really deep subjects sometimes. So he'll hit you in the feels. Thomas will hit you in the feels.
Dropping those bombs, right?
Oh yeah, he ain't screwed.
Geeks and Gamers, thank you, Jeremy, for the super chat. You know you don't have to. Great job having Mary on, Anna. She deserves it. Hashtag the fandom is stronger than other. Yep. Yeah, it is. And hashtag Jeremy has enough time to send super chats, but not enough time for the High Council. Just saying, everyone. Just saying. Proper Jeremy, thank you for the super chat. And all caps. Merry freaking Mayhem. Hooray. Didn't know you were uncomfortable when I handed you the phone, Anna, but glad it worked out. LOL. Shenanigans rule. Yeah, I try to like not let people know that I'm like very socially awkward. That's why the entire time at Star Wars Celebration, I walk around, with either a sketchbook or my iPad and I draw, because it's like I don't do good in crowds, and that's why like I walk really fast and I'm like, you've never met me, Mary, in person, but I'm really, really small. And like, I just zigzag through crowds, kind of like a kid at an amusement park. And I'm just like, let me keep moving and, let me be aware of my surroundings. And then I'm going to park and I'm going to draw and I'm going to mind my own business, be in my own bubble. And if people come up and talk to me, then I'll talk to them, but I might be out of it. But yeah, I try to hide my social awkwardness, but it's there. When I'm not prepared for something, it is there. But it's okay.
It's a superpower, actually, if you think about it. Being small enough to zigzag and out of, like, you could literally get away from anything at any time. That's a superpower. Own it.
Not everything and anything, but a majority of things. Author Stephen Walton, thank you for the super chat. Or Arthur. Oh my. Author, yeah. Hail the Fandom Menace. Hail Anna. Hail Merry Mayhem. Well, hail to you as well. And I apologize. I do have dyslexia, so if I read anyone's name incorrectly, I apologize.
My brother has it too, so it's actually a habit of mine. When my brother says something, I'm literally ready for it. It might be a bad habit, actually, but I'm usually ready for the sort of, I don't know. That's so weird. Sorry, I just realized I jumped in and did to you what I do to my brother.
Oh no, it's fine. I mean, I was either gonna look at the chat, so that's usually what I do. I like it when people actually know how to pronounce the things, because I was like, is it author? Did I miss a letter or something? Did I just not see it? Is like my that thing messing me up? I don't know. Getting hiccups. That's why you don't drink soda too fast, guys. Drunk 3PO, thank you for the super chat. Thanks for having Mary on. She's family. Much love to you both. Well, thank you. And yes, again, like I'm very glad that I had Mary here tonight. I'm very glad that I had the honor of interviewing her. Let's see. I changed my name to get you Monty's. Okay. Thank you. But thank you for the super chat. Super chat for super YouTuber. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Mandatory Carrie, thank you for the super chat. And it says, you're back with a heart. Yes, I am back. Slowly but surely, I am making the transition back. C3PO, thank you for the super chat. Don't listen to my drunk counterpart. Oh, oh my gosh. So now there's a C3PO that's trying to, have a little, not Twitter battle.
He's a usurper.
It's kind of like how Jeremy, then there's the proper Jeremy, and now there's drunk 3PO, and then now there's the C3PO.
It's wonderful.
See, I love that. It's all like the little inside stuff that only somebody in the Fandom Menace would know. I changed my name to get you Monty's. Thank you for the super chat. I don't like sand. Well, it's coarse and rough and it gets everywhere.
Yeah.
But you can build sandcastles with it. He did. I don't think Anakin was ever able to do that.
Yeah, but I think we give him a lot of flack, Sand sucks. Poor Anakin. Gets all that flack. Sand sucks.
Yeah, but Padme's arm is smooth, right?
God. That was so cringe.
Oh yeah, well, as a kid, I was like, "Oh, how romantic!" He's looking at her and like looking into their eyes. And then as an adult, I'm like, "Oh my god, if this would not work, never in a million years would that line have worked."
Nope. You've literally gone, I gotta go.
It's like, it's like, all right, bye.
Do anything but this right now.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Miss Sarcastic Nerd, thank you for the super chat, even though you didn't say anything. John Campia, I don't know if this is the real John Campia or not, but it says, so true about Maleficent. Yeah.
There's no way that's the real John Campia. Yeah.
Huh?
There's no way that's the real John Campia.
I know.
That's not how my life works.
I know. I'm going to click on it to go to the channel to see. Oh my god, it was.
You're not serious.
No, that was the real John Campia.
I don't really know what to say to that. That's not how my life works. That is crazy. That's
yeah, everyone's saying it was. Yeah, I just clicked on the channel. Oh, okay. I'm surprised that he was commenting on my channel. We don't agree on anything.
I was gonna say, shouldn't he be angry about something? Like, that's crazy. Okay, well, high five up top, man.
Yeah, I guess he's being open-minded. It's either that he's being open-minded or he has never seen my content and he saw a Star Wars themed show going on. So I would like to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I don't know that's interesting. But thank you for the $5, John Campia. Tom King, thank you for the super chat. Loving this hashtag Fandom Menace all-star stream. Well, thank you. I know I do have it. It's the all-star stream with me and Mary. The Major, thank you for a super chat. I don't know who Merry Mayhem is, but I look forward to finding out. Well, that was the entire point of this. It is to highlight people in the Fandom Menace, and so that way everyone can get to know each other. Because, I mean, it's one thing to just, interact with to watch somebody's video as compared to, interacting with them in comments or in, live stream comments as compared to, seeing two people have a conversation where, we're learning about someone. Like, all of us were here tonight to learn about Mary. And I think that helps us all become stronger as, the Fandom Menace.
I agree with it. It's a little crazy though. Every once in a while I'm just like, oh, I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, I would always get like kind of embarrassed because when I was on my my friends' channels and they would like give me compliments in a way, and it's like, what are you doing? But I mean, I honestly, like I said again, like you're a ray of sunshine, and I wanted everyone to see that ray.
I have to resist every urge in me to blow raspberries and stuff like that.
What's blow raspberries?
Oh,
that's I've never heard that term, blow raspberries.
Oh yeah, no, man, that's what you do whenever you like, you feel super like, stop, no, really, stop.
Not me.
So, well, thank you though. I have a lot of nice people around me. So,
sorry, my phone just blew. It was dead and it had it charging and it's just blown up. It's my boyfriend's mother's birthday, so everyone's, messaging in the group chat, and I'm like, oh my, when your phone, it's like, oh my god, is it going to explode?
You're afraid to touch it. You call the exorcist and you're like, look.
Yep, it's like, what is going on? Because it's like, I have such bad luck with totally off topic. Like I have because I'm an iPhone person. I like my iPhones. I like everything the way Apple is set up. But I have a problem where my phones start to heat up, and I'm like, I think it actually might explode. Like, remember when they had that whole scandal with the Samsung phones that would catch on fire? I'm like, I think my phone might be the malfunction one in the Apple collected. Oh my god, totally off topic there, but just so everyone knows why I was looking off. Let's see. Tim Cook, thank you for the super chat. This is a clear threat to the establishment as there's too much reason and logic.
You can't handle the truth.
There you go. Johnny the Whiz Kid, thank you for the super chat. Ivan Ortega's film fix of The Last Jedi improved it a bit. Yeah, you can always show through the editing that things can be done better. The only thing is that it's never going to erase the pain that we felt. Like, they can come out and say that they're sorry, but you're never not going to, unlive that experience that you had the first time that you watch it. Like, Mary's never going to forget driving home with her brother in silence or sitting there in the theater watching the movie and just having her heart broken. I'm never going to forget it. And like, when my own experience being in the theater and watching it, not a single person can ever, forget that. And so you can attempt to fix it, but you can't erase the past.
Yeah, it's true.
Let's see. Tom King, thank you for the super chat. History is being made right now. Welcome to the Fandom Menace. Damajani, thank you for the super chat. Dynamic duo right here. Hope to see you all next year. Yeah, Mary, are you going to Star Wars Celebration?
It is the goal. It is the intention. Now, whether or not I actually make it into the convention is a great question, and we'll see when we get there. But the goal, the hope is to at least go down for it and be able to take the opportunity to hang out with you guys and see everybody and engage with everybody in the way that I've always wanted to, because I'm going to hug all of you people. I'm going to hug you so hard.
Yeah, the thing about like Celebration I noticed was like, yeah, getting into the panels is fun and fine. Well, one panel was fun. 2 panels I went to were fun. The one with Andy Tudyk and then the one with The Mandalorian. Those 2 were fun. The Rise of Skywalker was hours of my life I'll never get back. But and like at the convention, it was just like, you shop, you walk around, but it was going like seeing everyone afterwards, like hanging out with people. That was the fun stuff. So even if you don't get into the convention, I mean, and the security was super laxed in Chicago. Like, I feel like when I walked, because it was snowing and everything, so I had like my big thick jacket with a scarf. You couldn't even see my little thing, and I'm like, they don't check your names. All I'd have to do is go hand you a pass,
Dude, Proper was telling me that. Like, he wasn't even supposed to be able to get in there, and he just went right in, and they didn't do anything about it.
They don't do anything.
Like, that's really weird, because it wouldn't have gone down that way at NYCC. And New York City Comic Con, you do not get to go places where you are not supposed to be going. Like, that's all there is to it.
I think Comic Con, I've never been to a Comic Con, but from what I've heard from everyone, they're really like on top of things. Whereas like Star Wars Celebration, we're at a convention center. There's like 10 other conventions going on. I felt so bad because we were walking to go eat something, and I'm walking through and I see these kids playing chess, and I'm like, I love chess. So I said something, and apparently it was a competition, and the parents glared at me because I was like, oh no.
I ruined it.
I was like, oh my God, I just helped this kid cheat. Like, I felt so bad. But the security, they're just like, you're dressed up like a Star Wars person. We're not going to question that you're not supposed to be here. So if it's anything like that in LA, I'm not sure, or Anaheim, not LA. I'm not sure. But I mean, if anything, just get Airbnb and then just come. And I don't know if you've ever been to California, but just come and enjoy it. Like, go to the beach, then at night, come meet up with everyone,
I mean, I could try to sneak it. Like, not above that. I did that same thing. Well, sorry. It's alleged that I might have snuck into Captain Marvel and have paid for a different movie. I'm not sure what they're talking about, but it's been alleged of me. So it's possible.
There you go.
Anna, can I come right back? I have a dog whining at the door. She's desperate to go potty.
Go ahead. I'll read a couple of super chats while you go.
5 minutes. I'll be right back.
No problem. Just unmute your mic.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I will get through some more super chats, everyone. Let's see. Revenus Demon, thank you for the super chat. No comment. All right. The Major, thank you again for another super chat. Disney, 7 years, 4 months, and they can't turn a profit because they're hacks. There you go, right there. Has it been 7 years? Oh, God. Orbital 197 Goat, thank you for the super chat. The dress was part of Leia's cover story to Vader. Well, yes, but I mean, at the same time, she was coming from the Imperial Senate, so her alibi, everything works. That's one of the things about, Princess Leia and the Resistance is they all have an alibi that fits. And so when that happened, she was on a mission from the Imperial Senate, but Darth Vader's like, well, you know what? You are, but you're also doing some shady stuff, so I'm taking you on the Death Star. I don't care. Palpatine is about to wipe out the Senate. Darth Vader knew that, so he's like, there's no repercussions to my actions. I couldn't touch you before, but now I can now, and I'm going to destroy your planet. And so, yeah, the dress was there for a reason. Adam Ashma, thank you for the super chat. You know what series knows how to write women? JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. With 8 parts, you see the armor evolve his writing of female characters. I have never heard of that, but I will look into it. Thank you for the recommendation. John Talks, thank you for the super chat. Just wanted to drop by and show some support for 2 awesome channels. Well, thank you for the super chat, John. It's good to have you here and hopefully have you on one day. Oh my gosh, I did something and everything moved. Crazy Manor 2003, thank you for the super chat. Worst part was Leia slapping Poe. She would never do that, and a general would never get away with doing that without being reprimanded. Disgraceful. I 100% agree with you. That was not in character for Leia. Everything about that was just somebody that had seen the merchandising and tried to tell a story that didn't make any sense and didn't know the rules at all of the universe or the characters that they were trying to use. And it was, don't want to use the S word, but it was so stupid. Mongo's Big Things, thank you for the super chat. This is so cool, Anna. It's been a busy week for the Fandom Menace these last few weeks, to say the very least, but it's really awesome and inspiring to hear from you both. Great stuff. Well, thank you. I'm glad you all are enjoying this. Geeks and Gamers, damn it. Thank you for another super chat. This stream deserves more super chats. Mary is amazing, and Anna introduced her to an all-new audience. Great job. Well, thank you. I have good ideas sometimes. All the time, but yeah. Adam Ashma, thank you for the super chat. Okay, Geeks and Gamers, how's this one for you? Oh, well, thank you, Adam. Author Stephen Walton, thank you for the super chat. Hail at the ladies of the Fandom Menace. Thank you. I appreciate that. Red Monarch 5 standing by. Thank you for the super chat. Howdy, ladies. Just got here. Hail the Fandom Menace family. Oh, well, thank you for the super chat. Cynical Centrist, thank you for the super chat, even though you didn't say anything. The Major, thank you again for another super chat. Because it's nice to hear women say it in public, it's noticed and appreciated. I think you're referencing what me and Mary were talking about, and how Mary kind of capitalized on, the fact that men are being treated like absolute garbage, and she's not going to stand for it. So thank you for the super chat. Tito World, thank you for the super chat. Love what you were both saying. Kudos to you both. And live long and prosper, and peace and long life. Red Monarch 5 standing by. Thank you for the super chat. Dilly Dilly Hail Mary. A lot of these are for Mary. I hope that she can hear me. I think she can. I don't think she muted herself or anything. Let's see. Renflex01, thank you for the super chat. Thank you very much for supporting us guys out here. It's a breath of fresh air to hear a rational point of view, and it does mean a lot. Well, I'm glad, and I think that's one of the things that, why our community is growing so much, and why we have so much support for, all of our channels, because, they want to say what they want to say in the news and in the media, but they're not tuned in with reality. And I think that's one thing that, why people come to YouTube as a platform to, speak out and, voice the things that they won't say, in the public eye. So, that's one thing, like I said, I really felt like I really wanted to, introduce Mary, and she's a beam of freaking sunshine. And at the same time, she's also a very strong, woman that's, fighting for these injustices in the world. And you don't have to have 20/20 vision to see what's going on. I mean, a blind person could see what's going on. And, it's really important that we talk about these things and we bring awareness to it.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Don't you hate it when your dog's like, I think I'll take 10 years to find the exact spot?
Oh, yeah, that's Tulip. I was like, Tulip. I was like, if I say the P word, then she'll. I'm just like, just go. And she's got to sniff around. She's got to look. She's got to walk a little bit. She's got to find her perfect place. And it's like, baby, just go.
Just please go. Please be. Please. This is not rocket science.
Let's see. Make a Jetty 1, thank you for the super chat. Hi, Anna and Mary. I got a Fandom Menace stream tomorrow. Tomorrow is Tuesday, so I hope you have it. Oh, excuse me. Oh my God, that was rude. I'm so sorry. Tomorrow's Tuesday, so I hope you're doing a little bit earlier because tomorrow is when the High Council is # Jeremy doesn't have any time for the High Council. But yeah, so good luck with it. I hope you're not doing it at a conflicting time. Geeks and Gamers, thank you for the super chat. Again, Jeremy has enough time to super chat, but not enough time for the High Council. If Mary is okay with it, I will work with her to help her build her channel. She's amazing. Thanks, Anna, for making this happen. See, dude, I told you I have great ideas. Sometimes you just need to listen to me. I give Jeremy shit all the time.
Yeah, let's do this.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you already, from what I've seen, like you do know how to edit. I like your little opening where it's like you do your little thing and then it has like the Merry Mayhem with the music. I think that's cute. You don't get flagged for that, do you, with the music?
No, it's copyright free music. So
okay.
Yeah, I was very careful when I first made it ages ago now, I guess. It actually wasn't very well received. There were a few people who were like, I don't like it. But it started growing on you after a while. And so I was like, I actually kind of do like it because it's sort of is eerie, like, hey, wong, wong, wong sort of thing, right?
I like it.
I like it. You know, it's meant to convey a sense of like, hey, there's something a little weird here. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's mayhem. It's mayhem.
Yeah, I mean, my only suggestions would be like maybe get like a better camera and then like some lighting so that we like, because right now you're like lit from the ceiling. So if you get one like on your face so we can see you better.
Yes, I do need to. I was thinking about maybe getting like a little LED strip or something for up here. The big focus right now has been the computer, which should be here. Everything should be here by tomorrow, and then hopefully have everything set up. But yes, I'm working on everything. I even have a green screen. I have a green screen. So once it's all set up, then hopefully everything will start to come together more. But I am working on it slowly but surely. I'm getting things together.
That's okay. All my like beginning videos, they were filmed on my iPhone in like portrait. So they have like the space, and then like my lighting was like the light that I use to light my still life paintings. So it's one of those things that it's a process, and especially learning everything and like what works and whatnot. So you'll get there. But there you go. Jeremy is offering to help you, and Jeremy has an entire team. He doesn't have enough time for the High Council, but he has enough time to help Mary, which we will give him a pass on that one.
I'm going over here.
Let's see. Red Monarch 5 standing by in all caps. And also thank you for the super chat. Power women of the Fandom Menace family. And yes, Jesse and the rest not mentioned. And, huh?
I think he might just be talking about all of the strong women.
Oh, and like how they don't mention us.
Yeah, like they like to act like we're not here.
Yeah, that's very true. All right, that makes more sense. I know that like super chats, they have a limit to like how much you can write, so you have to like be creative.
True.
Let's see. The Cape, thank you for the super chat, even though you did not say anything. DJM Voices, thank you for the super chat. Great stream, just sub to Mary. Good stuff. Well, thank you. And yes, everyone, if you liked Mary, if you liked what you heard here today and you want to see more of Mary's content and, you know, be able to get notifications for when she does have live streams, go over and subscribe to her channel and make sure you click the bell and make sure the bell is continued to be clicked, because YouTube has this weird thing with their algorithm where it will unclick it and so you don't get notifications. But that's how you do it. That's how you get more involved with Mary and her channel.
And I have a lot of content. I put something out almost every day. So.
There you go. Let's see. Adam Ashma, thank you for the super chat. When Mary explained the origins of her channel, it really moved me to tears. Man, Mary, you just got a new sub. Then you go to sleep and you realize that you helped someone who feels lonely. Aww. And see, that's why doing streams like this are important, because I feel like with the way that YouTube's algorithms work, like, it's not there to help anymore. to help individual content creators. It's there to help, you know, the mainstream channels that are owned by big corporations. And so that's why and like I said, like, I'm not a very socially forward person. I'm very awkward and I have a hard time getting to know people. So what I found helps me is, you know, doing interviewed styled shows, and then I get to ask questions and we get to learn about each other and we get to relate to each other based on these life experiences. And I think, you know, doing this and introducing people, like highlighting people within the Fandom Menace, it's really going to make us stronger. Because like Adam, who sent the super chat, you know, knew my channel. Obviously he's here, but he hadn't seen Mary yet because maybe the algorithm didn't work. Maybe, you know, your videos have never showed up in the things. And now, you know, people get to see the wonderful person that I've seen, the wonderful person, you know, the ball of sunshine that I've, you know, been lucky to interact with. And that's why I really want to highlight everyone in the Fandom Menace.
Yeah. We do a lot of community work here, you know, like in terms of like within the smaller channels, we work together constantly. We are constantly doing whatever we can to help each other, build each other up, you know, network with one another to sort of build our channels, build the community, and get the word out there. We work together constantly. We take good care of each other, and it means the world to us. You know, it gets harder and harder all of the time to reach out to everybody. And so when you reached out to me, and I was in tears, I'm not gonna lie, I won't mop it up here. I was in tears. I was like, oh my God. Like, I didn't even, you know, it gets hard sometimes because you feel like you're working against an uphill battle. You're working against the tide. YouTube doesn't care about small creators. So no matter how hard you work and no matter how hard you try, YouTube is sort of constantly working against you. So we do our best to try to find ways around that by helping one another. And it means the world to us when people like you, when people like Jeremy, when people like Mecca, when people like Jeff, when people like, you know, you reach and you help us. You reach out and help us. Like Midnight's Edge and Midnight's Edge After Dark, Rob and Tom have been so sweet to me. It means the world to us to feel like you see us as people too. You know, that's amazing.
Well, I mean, like I told you, because, you know, I have my email where people can email me. Unfortunately, there are assholes in the world, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it, that like to abuse that and send me, you know, absolutely horrible things, as well as inappropriate adult time things. And, you know, it makes me really hesitant to go and look at the email. And, you know, it sucks for people that actually do want to talk to me and have conversations. And, you know, there are people out there that passionately hate me. And, you know, it makes me very closed off because, you know, at the end of the day, it's like, I'm a person too. I do have feelings and I need to, you know, protect myself. But so that's why even on Twitter, like, I have it set to where I have to message you. Like, unless I'm following you, you can't message me. And so, and I do that for my own, you know, protection, because there's freaking crazy people out there. And it's like, I have enough problems going on in the real world to deal with, you know, virtual cyber bullies, basically, and creepers. So, you know, and that sucks. I want to talk to everyone because, like I said, you know, I might live under a rock, but my eyes and ears are open and I see things. And that's why I, you know, wanted to highlight you and your channel. And it doesn't matter how many subscribers you have, you know, that's just never, I started off somewhere. I never even intended to have a YouTube channel. And, you know, the only reason why Jeremy and I became friends was because I watched one of his videos. Somebody commented my video saying I should go look into Geeks and Gamers because they thought that, you know, what we were saying was kind of on the same level. I went and watched a video and I was like, you know what? I kind of like what this guy's saying. I kind of respect him. Let me reach out. Then we had a phone conversation and I was like, my entire life, I've had people kind of second guess me on my knowledge of Star Wars. And I was like, let me hear this guy's spiel. And I'm like, okay. And then I was like, all right, dude, I'm going to ask you this question. And if depending on if you answer this question right, it's going to determine if we can be friends or not. And I asked him, and we were able to have a conversation based on that. And, you know, we're friends. And yeah, obviously he had a bigger channel than me. I think he had like 30,000 subs at the time. And look at the difference between that now. I mean, he's already surpassed, way surpassed that. But, you know, we work together and people like to see, friendships, and, even with me and Jesse, even, with world-class bullshitters and, Ethan, with everyone, we all started out somewhere. And, we didn't change. The algorithm worked for us. We're still doing the same thing. Maybe our audio quality got better. Maybe our cameras got better. Maybe the lighting got better. Maybe, I think I'm proud of, spending 2 days pinning shit to a wall. I'm glad my background looks better now. But, we all started out somewhere. And Jessie is just as special now as she was, the moment she started. Same with Jeremy. Same with Jeff. Same with Ethan. Same with everyone. And I want everyone to get, millions and millions. We're all going to surpass PewDiePie one day. So it doesn't matter where you start. It's who you are that's important. And that's what I want to highlight.
No, I'm going to cry.
That was a very long answer to that. But I hope that makes sense. Like, you shouldn't feel like, oh, I'm just a small channel. No, it's who you are that's important. It doesn't matter how many subscribers. What happened with me happened on accident. Like, I had maybe 20,000. I had to breathe. I was literally on top of all the things with Captain Marvel. I had no, outside life. I was just like, let me, us girls, no offense, guys. I'm pretty sure guys are great at this too. Us girls, if there's something on the internet we want to know, we will find it. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what I did. I was like, what is this bitch saying? I was like, what? And I was on top of it, and it worked with the algorithm, and that got me 40,000 subs in 1 month. That had nothing to do with, the quality. Well, I personally am going to say I'm proud of the content I put out, but it helped. It's something worked within the algorithm. And I think all of us have had that one video where it works. I've watched channels that have 10 million subscribers that say there's one video that, kind of helped their channel blow up. So it's just a matter of when that will happen. And since YouTube is changing its algorithm, it might be different, but don't lose hope. Numbers don't matter. It's who you are that matters.
I believe in what it is we have to say.
Yes.
No, I don't imagine I'll go anywhere. I don't care if it never, and I said this to Abu Nas actually not too long ago. I was like none of us started this to become YouTube famous, right? Because the likelihood of that is so slim. The likelihood of ever making it, as it were, as a YouTube channel, because there are millions and millions and millions of YouTube channels, and most of them will never go anywhere. But at the end of the day, this isn't about that. This isn't even about that. This is about having some measure of conviction for what it is that you believe and what it is that you're saying. And if you have that conviction, then you soldier on and you keep doing it, because they can't ignore all of us. They cannot ignore all of us. At some point, something will change. And let's say they do. Let's say they do. I know that I did what was right. I know that I stood for what I believe in. I know I wasn't just a person who stood by and let it happen and never said a word about it. I fought back. So even if worst case scenario, this is a fight we lose, I fought.
Yeah.
Got into the fray. I stood for what I believe in. That's what matters.
And that's why you're going to succeed.
I hope so. But what I hope is that things turn around. I hope that with all of my heart. I can't watch another Luke Skywalker be treated the way he was. I can't do it again.
Yeah, I think we're all with you right there. Let me get back to this because we're almost done. The Night's Watch, thank you for a super chat. Anna, nice to find your channel. Well, thank you. Welcome. Ryan Bush, thank you for the super chat. Ewan McGregor is the best Obi-Wan, in my opinion. And then 300 emojis. I think that they both do a good job, but there's things that I like about each of them for different reasons. I don't think one is necessarily superior than the other. I think that they both had their strengths and weaknesses.
I think we wouldn't have an Ewan McGregor performance without Ian's. We
yes.
Doesn't exist, and so credit where it's due. The model was laid out, and Ewan McGregor did a wonderful job, and he is the reason why I can 5 out of 7 days a week say Obi-Wan Kenobi is my favorite Star Wars character. But at the end of the day, you have to, everything harkens back to the originals. That's where it all started. So I think you're frozen again. Is it just me or is she frozen? I'm really, really hoping that it's just me. I think so. Hold on. Let me look at the main page here. Yes, she is frozen on the main page. All right. Well, I hope she comes back here in just a second because I feel a little weird and I'd prefer not to get on my shoes and start tap dancing or something. That would be awkward. So, I'll take this opportunity to say hi to people in the chat. Hi, author Stephen Walton. Nice to see you. Thank you so much for showing up. And now it is just me. All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for showing up. I'm hoping she'll come back. I'm assuming she'll come back. They did. They snuck in and got her. They snuck in and got her. She's trapped in the Phantom Zone. Or the Fandom Zone. Could be the Fandom Zone. Generation Productions. Yeah, she's frozen. She needs to let it go. Let it go. That was very punny. Mary, take over. I didn't mean to take over anything. I'm just chilling out. Reading the chat because I have no idea what else to do. So poor Anna will be back, I'm sure. John Talks, hold it down, Mary. You got this. We've done this before. John, you've just opened yourself up to a world of crazy. So John Talks. I was on John Talks stream one night, and for various reasons, it had to be held down. So Sith Kryptonian and myself hung out for about 4 to 5 hours that night. And poor John woke up the next day to a stream that had been running for 8 hours with the vast majority of it being in his absence. So poor John Talks. Send her Star Wars questions. That works. I did not. Mary kicked Anna from her own channel. I would never. Let's see here. What color is my lightsaber, Mary? My lightsaber is actually pink. It is not running right now. I actually need to fix it. I made that lightsaber, and it is. I'm working on putting the Tompe handle on it. It was supposed to be a Tompe handle, but it wound up that the insert for the charger port is slipped in, so I need to take it apart, push it back into where it's supposed to go, but it doesn't actually light up right now. What does light up is my little Millennium Falcon light over there that was sent to me by Honstar, so kind of helps with the effect over there a little bit. But yes, it is pink. Mary Shill Rookie's Quest.
I am so sorry.
It's all right, girl power. Held it down. You just read the chat.
Okay. I might I actually do need to like go click something on my internet because I have to like go reboot it. It'll only take like a minute. I will be right back. I'll just mute my camera or like myself. No. Keep reading the chat. I will be right back. Let me fix it so it doesn't cut out in the middle.
Me and the chat, we're already good buddies, so no worries. All right, let's see here. What was it I saw? Shill Rookie's Quest. Actually, I would love to shill Rookie's Quest. I don't know if you were all here earlier, but Rookie's Quest is a compilation. It's a story. It's a linear story that's in a trilogy part, and it's actually quite engaging. I've caught the last 2 episodes. Episode 3 is coming out this Friday. And if you like seeing people impersonate Rita Repulsa, aka me, impersonate Rita Repulsa, that's a pretty good place to go because we had a lot of fun. Let's see. DJ Fox, dump this up. Don't get up. Well, now what if I do? Now I'm terrified. What if I do get up? Mary, take over. Car video. Thoughts on the Kenobi TV series. I actually was on a live stream with Proper Jeremy last week on This Week in BS, and I have nothing but disdain for the notion that you would stick ObiWan Kenobi on a TV series when this is ObiWan Kenobi and he deserves a trilogy on the big screen. I do not trust Disney to do a good job with it. I do not trust them to treat this character with respect. And I am not holding my breath. Will I review it? Of course I'm going to review it because that's my job. But at the end of the day, I don't trust Disney anymore to do what it is that they're supposed to do. I know it's what we were asking for. I know it's what we were hoping for. And I do not dismiss anyone's desire to have hope. I know that people wanted ObiWan Kenobi content. But at this point, I am concerned that if we are given ObiWan Kenobi content, it will simply dismiss him, degrade him, and mistreat him in the same way that it did Luke. And that concerns me and it scares me because that's my favorite character. So I'm not holding out hope, not holding my breath. I refuse to sit here and go, this is going to be great, only to have my hopes and dreams dashed upon so many rocks below. It would just, I think that would tear me up inside. Disney is evil emoji, or evil devil emoji horns. I would say yes, I would agree with that at this point. That Disney has given me no reason to think of, I can't think of a better word to describe them at this point other than maybe money grubbing. Money grubbing is a good word. Welcome back.
Thank you. That was a mission. I did this thing where I got like this 100-foot cord to plug into my internet directly, and it doesn't freaking work. And then you have to reboot everything, and then it cuts out in the middle of a stream. It's dumb. That's what happens when you have an old computer. What did I miss?
Oh, we were just chatting about the ObiWan Kenobi TV series.
I have not even looked into that yet. I just heard that it is a thing.
I refuse to get my hopes up again. I won't have them dashed again.
I know. All right, let me finish these super chats. Miss Sarcastic Nerd, thank you for the super chat. Congrats on passing 1,500 subscribers, Mary. Heart, heart. Congratulations.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, you passed 1,500 subs during this stream.
I was at 1,400. 1,420. What? Holy cow! Holy cow!
Congratulations! 1,544 now.
Holy cow! Oh, wow!
You're almost to 2,000! Yay!
Oh my god! Wow!
And see, I mean that's the power of, you know, people learning more about you. And oh, don't cry. Congratulations, you deserve it. Like I said, you're a ball of sunshine, and the more people that see that, you know, again, it humanizes you, and so you don't just become another channel, you become a person, and people want to connect with people.
Jesus Lord. Holy cow. That was like 120 sub jump, Anna.
Congratulations. And you know what? There'll be days where you have, you know, 1,000 sub jumps. So it's just around the corner. You just keep working and keep making content, and just one thing you can't change is, you know, you have to be yourself. As long as you stay yourself and you keep doing what you're doing, it's just going to keep happening for you.
Thank you.
So congratulations. You deserve it, and so much more.
I don't even know what to say.
You don't have to say anything. People did that because they like seeing you for who you are. And that's one of the reasons why, you know, the Fandom Menace is so successful.
Holy cow. Thank you, guys. I will try to be worthy of Mjolnir.
Just never stop being yourself.
Just wiggle the hammer a little bit.
Well, congratulations, everyone. You made Mary cry.
It might have been
joy.
Actually spill. I managed to hold it together. I'm not trying to pull a mat.
I have never seen that video. Everyone keeps talking about it. I've never seen it.
Not trying to pull a mundane mat. Hold it together, Mary Pearl. Jesus Lord. Got this. All right.
Red Monarch 5 standing by. Thank you for the super chat. What do you think ever happened to the GoFundMe Brie Larson had? I wonder if that went to those empty seats. Could not find anything on it myself. I know. They never talked about it again. Nobody knows what happened to that money. Did the little girls go see it? I didn't see, you know, I looked for the hashtags, you know, the seeing, you know, Captain Marvel with my daughter. You can't really find much.
What a pointless endeavor. What a pointless endeavor. Why don't you feed those kids instead?
I know. It was like, oh, here, let's start GoFundMe so these little girls can see Captain Marvel, and, you know, my movie will make more money.
What a
yeah, go help raise money to go see my movie at, you know, regular price tickets, not discounted. Oh, also, you know, Disney has, you know, lots of money. They could very easily just rent out theaters in these towns so all these little girls can go see it for free. and it has to be like a child with their parent. Free movie.
Benefit them in any way. We should pay for, not only should we pay for our tickets, but we should pay for those tickets too, or we're bad people.
Yep. The hypocrisy. It's real. Jason Green, thank you for the super chat. Hail Anna and Mayhem. Glad to see you helping a fellow YouTuber. By the way, if you see Jeff, tell him not to hurt Jesse's pony. Oh, Jason, I actually saw the pony yesterday. I stopped by Jesse's. So I've only told Mary about this, but I did get 2 new little babies. Me and Tulip were really depressed after what happened with Jack, and I needed more love in my life, so I got 2 new kittens, and I stopped by Jesse's house because where I got the kittens were right next to where Jesse lives. So I stopped by Jesse's house, and Jesse's cats got to meet my kittens. And so, yes, and I met the pony. So Jason Green, he sent me and Jesse both My Little Pony Build-A-Bears, and they're supposed to be like best friend Build-A-Bears. Let me get and they both have heartbeats.
Oh.
And he gave, my favorite color is yellow, so this is my pony.
Oh my God. That's Fluttershy. That's Fluttershy. Oh, it's adorable.
And I have my little pony. And I love Build-A-Bears. I don't know if you've heard my Build-A-Bear story, but my entire life, I remember when Build-A-Bear became into existence and everyone got a Build-A-Bear. My mom, being the cheap woman that she was, would not get me a Build-A-Bear because it cost more than $5. And so I never got a Build-A-Bear. Then as we got older, all my friends, their boyfriends all got them Build-A-Bears, and I was waiting patiently for, me to get one. I never got one. And then my best friend, she hadn't gotten one either. And then she calls me when we were in college, and she's like, Anna, I got a Build-A-Bear. And I was like, no, I'm the only one. And then I was telling my coworker the story about Build-A-Bears until she got me my Spock Build-A-Bear. So that was my first Build-A-Bear. And then my boyfriend was he's like, I was waiting till your birthday to give you a Build-A-Bear. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry.
Too late now, sucker.
Yeah, so I have my Spock Build-A-Bear. I have the Build-A-Bear that my boyfriend got me. And then I have my Shutterfly.
I absolutely adore. One of the few things I think they did well in terms of a reboot was freaking My Little Pony.
I heard the movie was actually really good. I haven't seen it though.
Not at all. It really was. It was pretty good. So leave it to me, a grown woman, to be watching My Little Ponies rapt attention.
Hey, they're cute. But thank you, Jason. I appreciate it. And yeah, the pony is safe. I saw it. It's good. Jeremy, thank you again for another super chat. # Geeks and Gamers will have Mary a new camera next week. And then stupid clapping. But I think that clapping's okay. There's no car emoji. So Jeremy will be sending you a new camera.
What?
Do you have a P.O. box?
I do.
I'm expecting you will be receiving a new camera in the mail from Jeremy.
But Jeremy, you just helped with the GoFundMe. Oh. Okay. I don't know what to do right now. I don't know what to say to that.
Just say thank you. You are a ball of sunshine and you deserve everything.
Okay. Thank you.
# Jeremy has enough time to send Mary cameras, but not enough time for the High Council. But we won't let it slide because that's a nice thing to do. Let's see. Open-minded movie man, thank you for the super chat. Cheers to Anna and Mary. Well accomplished, Mary. And I think that was to your 1,500 subs. Thank you. And I think I could say it on both of our behalfs.
Thank you.
Adam Ashma, thank you for the super chat. WWE is the only company worse than Disney. Also, if you want Mary to 2000, this stream, give me a hell yeah. Oh, if you want to help Mary to 2000, this stream, give me a hell yeah. So everyone in the stream say hell yeah. And then final super chat for the night, Demajanite, thank you for the super chat. Some troll sent me one vid with the Captain Marvel challenge. I don't know what the Captain Marvel challenge was.
I don't know what it is either.
Was that like pushing the thing?
I don't know. Is it stealing a motorcycle?
There you go. Was it assaulting a man named Don? The Don? Assault Don and then mug him and then rob the store?
Wow.
Oh, to make Bree smile.
Oh, I don't think that's possible, darling. I'm not altogether sure that can be done.
Get her a unicorn. Maybe she'll smile. Maybe she'll just insult you. She's like, you didn't watch my movie. I don't accept the unicorn. I thought it was more important to have a boyfriend. Stupidest movie ever. All right, let's see. Oh, then I get one more super chat. So guys, don't send any more super chats after this because I'm going to ask Mary the 10 questions and then we are going to call this due for today. Deranged lunatic. I am sorry. Mary first 1,500, next 15,000.
I can only imagine. And deranged lunatic, I have your dice right here. Okay, they are getting mailed out tomorrow, and there is a note in them for you.
Ah, nice. What are the dice for?
So on my D&D live streams, I give away dice, Dungeons and Dragons dice. So this is his
cool.
Right here. And yes, I will be sending these out for him tomorrow. And I am very excited to get them to him. So we have about another 3 sets of dice to give away. We play bi-weekly. So
cool. Fun. And then Dimaj and I sent a super chat. So guys, don't send any more super chats after this. Like if you do, I will not be reading them on this stream. Finish it, and then we're going to ask Mary the 10 questions, and then we will be done for the night. Dimaj, I thank you for the last super chat. That was sending the kids to see Captain Marvel. Oh, the bull BS. Captain Marvel challenge. Donate to this GoFundMe so Brie Larson can have more money and Disney can get more people to pay for their stupid movie.
What a worthy thing to spend my money on. Thank you. No, thank you.
Yeah, no. All right. Well, everyone, that is the end of the super chat section. Now, I actually have a notebook with these questions on it. So I don't know how many people are familiar with it. So I will give a little backstory on these 10 questions. So one of the shows that I really liked watching, even though, I'm not an actress, was not into that kind of stuff, but I really loved the show Inside the Actor's Studio with James Lipton. And I'm blanking, of course, I know the guy's name, but I'm blanking on it right now. He uses these 10 questions at the end of every segment, which he asked every single guest that he had on his show. And it's these 10 questions that were asked by this one person who, I can't believe I'm forgetting their name. Of course, you always blank on the things that you need when you need them.
Right.
And so mine, it's a little bit, at least the last question, I kind of switched it to have to do with geekdom. But these are the first 10 questions. Mary, are you ready?
Let's do this.
Okay. First question. What is your favorite word?
Shenanigans.
Why?
Fun.
Let's see. What is your least favorite word?
My least favorite word. I would have to say probably. Oh, it's a hard word to answer. I don't dwell on things I hate. Let me think.
First thing that comes to mind, least favorite word.
Least favorite word, thing that comes to mind. Cage.
Cage. I don't know. That's interesting. Number 3. What turns you on?
What turns me on? Being funny.
What turns you off?
Ego.
What?
Ego.
Ego. What sound or noise do you love?
I love the sound of a cat purring.
What sound or noise do you hate?
Someone crying.
What is your favorite curse word?
Foot. Hold on. That's my mom, what she says in place of
Foot.
foot.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
I would like to be a nurse or a singer.
Any reason why?
I can't imagine a more helpful profession than a nurse. And singing is sort of in me. So.
There you go. That's why you have the karaoke show.
Exactly.
All right. Question 9. What profession would you not like to do?
I would not like to clean sewers.
It's a very good one. All right. Last question for the night. If your favorite character existed and so did their world, what would you want them to say to you when you met?
I would want them to tell me that I could make a difference in a galaxy far, far away.
Well, thank you, Mary, for being here. Thank you for answering all the questions. Thank you, everyone in the chat, for being here for this interview, for this episode of Force Talks with a very special guest, Merry Mayhem. Mods, if you could drop her channel link in the chat. It is also in the description of this video. And Mary, any final thing you want to say before we end the show? Like, where can people find you at? Like, either here on Twitter, YouTube?
Thank you. That's all I want to say is thank you.
Well, you're very welcome. And thank you, everyone, for being here. And everyone, until next time, may the Force be with you, because we are really, really, really going to need it. Bye, everyone.